A very good morning to you. Welcome to Friday on the AM show. It's a wet morning. It's quite a struggle out there, but we're here doing what we do best for love of God and of you, of our country. From where we are to you where you are, we say good morning. Now, here's what you can expect on the AM show this morning as we serve it to you hot, hot, hot. The Nigerians will say water, water. And so right after the news, we'll hit the news review. You know how we do it on a Friday morning. We'll be bringing you that. And then right after that, we'll veer into sports. And today on Prime Take, Muftau Nabila Abdullah engages Black Stars and Ashdod left back Montari Kameni. You want to look forward to that. He shares the story of how he rose from the sandy patches or pitches, if you like, in Yagaba Kubori to the green fields and floodlights in faraway Israel. Well, that's one you want to stay for. And right after that, I will be serving you this week's dose of blunt thoughts. You don't want to miss this morning's edition. I'll be focusing on a number of crucial matters, including sky trains and where our economy finds itself. Stay tuned for that. But then we get into our big stories, and we've got our eyes focused on the governing New Patriotic Party's flag bearership race. Now, there was a meeting yesterday. We'll be sharing the details of that meeting with you while there still remain allegations and rumors about the party mechanisms that they are going to be using and how some people feel disgruntled. But what is the party saying? We'll bring you details of that later on the show. We'll also bring you the latest on the leaked audio tape seemingly aimed at ousting Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare. What is truth? What is fiction? What is fact? What is fiction? We're bringing you that. And today, we also have a conversation with flag bearer of the Liberal Party of Ghana, Kofi Akpaloo. He has a lot that he wants to talk about based on current circumstances in the country. We'll be bringing you that conversation as well. And also, we have a conversation on COVID-19. Oh no, it's not gone anywhere. It's still with us. Now, the Ghana Health Service says a major part of the population is yet to fully vaccinate against the virus. So it stepped up its game this week to get us all fully vaccinated. But what is the drive? What is the aim of this drive in the end? We'll be hosting Dr. Kwame Amponsah. He's program manager, expanded program on immunization at the Ghana Health Service. And then finally, we'd host the final finalists. There have been 5 of them. 2 came 2 days ago, another 2 yesterday. Today, we'll be hosting the last finalist for Joy Prime's Cues and Lyrics show, Kwabena Mufasa. You want to stay as we get interactive with all of these people. So stick and stay. We'll be right back with the news. Thank you for staying with us for the news. Let's get into our first story now. 42-year-old John Dima left his sumptuous job at the National Health Insurance Authority and went into farming. He initially had some challenges raising capital and also getting machinery for his newfound job that he had a passion for. Now, after almost 14 years into farming, John Dima, who is the reigning overall Upper West Regional Best Farmer, tells of his success story to Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam, who visited his 1,000-acre farms at Jeffisi in the Sisala West district of the Upper West region.
John Dima, after acquiring a first degree in management studies at the Kumasi University College of Management Studies, UCOMS, that enabled him to acquire a white-collar job at the National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA, went into small-scale farming some 14 years ago.
I also think it's an opportunity to exploit nature, and the land is there. You don't need to pay for lands and those things.
He has passion for farming and saw his entry into the sector as a calling, thus explaining why he cut short his stint at the NHIA.
I was actually working with the National Health Insurance at Nedoli. I worked there for 2 years, and I just have to take adventure. So when I was resigning, I could remember the then manager called Jives Dakra. He encouraged me to remain, but I said, well, I have received a calling, and I just decided that I have to come and fulfill that calling.
He has no regrets for taking that decision. John Dema is now a commercial farmer and now Chief Executive Officer of the Gohobele Agric and Business Ventures and has employed dozens of people.
I've been able to employ a permanent staff of 16 permanent workers who are paid on monthly basis. We have casual workers that we handle over here. On a busy day like today that we are standing, we bring no less than 100 people. They work per day and they are all paid. So when I see that I've been able to solve someone's problem through agriculture, it's a lot of motivation to me.
He spoke of the initial challenges that he had, which nearly cowed him down.
When I went into agric, how to even prepare land was a very difficult issue. Getting tractors, machineries, you have to just do it by yourself. There is no government policy as at then that will be able to soften the situation for you to get equipments and other things. Now as we speak, you have a lot of marketing challenges. You have gone through all these things, you produce, how to market them, the market is not structured and all those things. They are all challenges.
One company that came in handy and he leaned on and which has pedaled him to success was the Export Trading Group, ETG. John Ayonore Adoko is a sales agronomist.
We've been working with him for the past 5 years, and he has been using the Falcon fertilizer for his first application, and sometimes he counts for the Falcon urea and sulfate for his top dressing. And as you can see, the evidence are clear on his field. You can see the progress of the field, and then you can say that Falcon fertilizer and ETG Agri Input is a trusted brand.
In Webado Akwe Kenneth, who serves as the Force Operations Manager and agronomist, he has a reliable partner. He can go home sleeping with both eyes closed.
We are doing in all 1,000 acres here. We have 300 acres being soybeans and then 700 being maize. But we also run what we call an agro scheme, where we outsource the inputs to farmers who have their own lands and cannot afford the inputs. So we are able to support them with input like certified seed, fertilizer, and then plant protection products to be able to farm on their own fields, and then they repay the cost back in grains.
Let's head to Parliament now, where the first Deputy Speaker, Joseph Osei-Wusu, says the 8th Parliament is becoming the worst Parliament in Ghana's history as the minority forces another adjournment. Now, the minority declared early this week that they were escalating their protests against the prosecution of James Gyakye Quayson. The new strategy is to continuously raise matters of quorum, literally shutting the House down every time. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante now reports.
Whilst Parliament was considering bills, including the Ghana UNESCO bill, it became evident that the House lacked quorum to continue voting. The minority raised the matter, forcing an early adjournment. Speaking to Joy News, the Deputy Speaker explained that he thought the 8th Parliament, with its equal numbers, would be better, but is turning out to be the worst.
We have decided to do politics rather than business. I'm saying it. This equal number of parliament had brought the worst in MPs. I've repeated it, I will repeat again. This parliament, the 8th parliament, has made the least number of laws. We have not cooperated as we did in the past.
The Deputy Speaker also says the leadership on both sides have lost control of the House to the backbenchers.
Today, young people are in control. They look at things differently from the rest of us. So it is good for them, even when their leaders agree to do it. Check out, it's always people from the backbench who come to raise these issues, not the leaders. What it means is that indeed, at this time, in the Parliament of Ghana, leaders don't have control. The backbench have control. So the number of backbench and the orientation of backbench you bring in, who could determine what you get.
The whole of this week, Parliament has only considered questions and statements, failing to deal with bills and other weighty matters. The minority strategy is now to raise quorum issues every time. The minority chief whip says cooperation will suffer if their colleagues are still persecuted.
We still remain committed to our statement that in light of this persecution, no cooperation from us.
Trade and Industry Minister K.T. Hammond is concerned that if this trend continues, no key business will be done in Parliament.
And they have explained to us as part of the leadership of the House. Yeah, because you take it to the logical conclusion, we can't do anything on the floor of the, we can't do any business. The standing orders are clear. We have a quorum for doing ordinary business of the House. We have a quorum for taking decisions.
Minority MP Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed said his side is only enforcing the Constitution and the standing orders of the House.
Business of the House is guided by two very important things. One, the Constitution, two, the standing orders. Both the Constitution and the standing orders are very clear that before a decision is taken, you should have a specific number. And if you are aware, the Supreme Court itself ruled when we had these same challenges in the matter of the approval of the budget.
Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
In our next story, the National Council and National Executive Committee of the NPP have unanimously dismissed petitions by some aspirants for the Super Delegates Congress to be held at a centralized location. This decision follows the long-standing precedent set in 2014. Now, some aspirants had earlier raised concerns over organizing the Congress at decentralized centers, citing issues of transparency. But the party's highest decision-making body indicated that the conference would continue with its regular practice of voting at regional centers. NPP General Secretary Justin Kodua Frimpong communicated the decision after the meeting last night.
National Council unanimously approved of the recommendation by the vetting committee. Another issue that came up for discussion was with respect to the venue to hold the Special Electoral College. After debate among ourselves, National Council came to the conclusion that the precedent in 2014 should stand, which means that the Special Delegate College will be held at the various regions, except for one that will be held at the headquarters for national officers, external branches, and members of the National Council of Elders. Aside that, too, National Council also cautioned our aspirants and by extension their campaign supporters or members that it has taken notice of several unsavory, several vituperative and intemperate language that are being used by some aspirants and their supporters. And that from today onwards, the National Council, without fear or favor, will crack the whip if it has to. And tomorrow, we are going to again issue the rules and regulations that were given to the aspirants, to the public, so that when we begin to crack the whip, nobody will state that the party is being selective, but we will make reference to the rules and regulations. With respect to the album verification, we also made it known to the aspirant that this is an internal exercise by the national party. And when this exercise is done, the album will be made available to the aspirants. In 2014, they were giving the album a week to the elections. But this time around, we want to give the album to them 1 month to the special college elections, so that they can go through issues, if any, they can be able to bring it up. Likewise, the November 4 elections also. So this is an attempt by National Party to make sure that we have a free, fair, transparent, and peaceful election. So we can assure all the aspirants that there's no cause for alarm, and everything will be done in such a manner that will protect and maintain the peace within our party.
Well, Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Mpibwesiako, says the Vice President has been accepted by the region as the formidable candidate to win the 2024 general election for the NPP. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been campaigning across all 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region ahead of the NPP's presidential primary. He wrapped up his campaign in the region on Wednesday after meeting delegates who will be participating in the August 26th Special Delegates Conference of the party. Nanabwachi Adam now reports from Kumasi.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has been in the Ashanti region for the past 2 weeks to campaign ahead of the NPP's presidential primary, flanked by several high-profile figures of the party, including members of parliament, regional and constituency chairmen and constituency council of elders. The Vice President toured all 47 constituencies in the region and wrapped up in the Old Tafo constituency. Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Mpibwesiako, says the region has decided to elect Dr. Bawumia as flag bearer of the party, considering his performance as Vice President. He believes the Buzia Dankwa Dumbo tradition must be upheld by ensuring Dr. Bawumia leads the party.
As we have witnessed and we have heard, it means that the people speak. And when the people are Ashanti, when they decide, you can't change it. The point is now that Ashanti has decided. It's about your works, the job, the things that you do will follow you. People are saying Dankwa Buzia Dombo, and people are saying Dankwa and Buzia has been served. So it's time for Dombo.
Member of Parliament for Efijasi and campaign coordinator for Dr. Bawumia in the Ashanti region, Nana Ayiwa says the Vice President is in a commanding lead in the region.
So far, so very good. Your Excellency, definitely in Ashanti region, is in a commanding lead by God's grace. He is. The people of Ashanti love him, and in the history of this country, as far as MPP is concerned, wherever Ashanti votes in presidential primaries, they vote en bloc. The superdelegates, his worst performance will be 85%. Last year I said 80%. 1 month to the election, I'm saying 85%. I know what I'm talking about. And if you see him trusting and cruising in the 90% as superdelegate for Ashanti, take it from me, it would reflect also in November 4th, God willing.
Spokesperson for Dr. Bawumia, Nana Akomia, says the support the Vice President has received from the Ashanti region is indication of victory ahead of the presidential primary.
From the enthusiasm that you've seen in Ashanti region, there's no doubt that the Vice President is clearly the front runner in this race.
For Joy News, Nana Bwachi Dankwayadom, Kumasi.
Now, flag bearer hopeful Alan Kojo Chemanting has been touring the OT region to share his vision with delegates on the need to endorse him to become the party's flag bearer for the 2024 general election. Mr. Chemanting says he is the only aspirant among the 10 with a national appeal to help the NPP break the 8. He met delegates from all 9 constituencies on a cluster basis. Peter Senu has been following his campaign in that region and has come through with this report.
Alan Kojo Chemanting, one of the leading flag-bearer aspirants of the New Patriotic Party, was in the OT region to meet delegates from all 9 constituencies to share his visions with them as to why they need to endorse his candidature to lead the party into the 2024 general elections. Sharing his view on why delegates should endorse his candidature, he says he's the only candidate with a national appeal that will attract floating voters to the party. He also said he will put all party executives on a payroll such that they can earn some income for their sacrifices.
Chairman, I'm the wobɛtumi akɔyi nipa no afei wode no kɔ a ghanafoɔ so nyɛ wei na yɛhwehwɛ sɛ nka mode wei baeɛ deɛ a ana nka yɛbɛto aba ma no na sɛ wo position no what I say.
Some delegates have also been sharing their views on exactly why they are endorsing the candidature of Alan Kojo Kyerematen.
We are supporting Alan Kojo Kyerematen because you say your food you are pano. Ono na ye piano. Ye na ye nim honorable betimi aye. Ye nim ya waye. Yes, waso my Ghana ache papa. No yo wa koma panso. Na onim adwuma. Oye very creative. Okanso a oye. Oni ni onipa Ghana has see at the moment. O man bia bekoso efi adwuma. Say youth ni adwuma ya. O man na enkoso. The only person you need that so betimi di adwuma bo man Ghana ha. Ama youth enye bia ye na o man na konenim. Honorable Alan Kojo Kyerematen. That is why
Bubakar Sadiq Boniface is the National Operations Commander for Alan campaign team. He has also been sharing his views as to why he has left all to support his candidature.
It's yesterday, and we are doing what we call the cluster campaign. The cluster, the essence of cluster is, first of all, the advantage in it is that you bring different constituencies together. You take the advantage of bringing people living in different constituencies who don't know each other. Now, when you bring them on board, it becomes a time where people will know each other and begin to do networking. They'll exchange ideas, exchange their frustrations, and together they will be able to solve their own problems. So the clustering is very, very important, though it looks quite expensive. In some places, we do single constituency. For example, we are in Nkwanta South. We are doing only one constituency. From here, we are going to Nkwanta North. We are doing a single constituency.
From the Oti region on the Alan campaign tour, my name is Peter San for Joy News.
And it's on that political note that we cap off the news for this morning. But stay with us. Up next, the news review. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and it's time now for us to get into the news review. Shortly, I'll be introducing to you the other person who will be joining me for this review. But for now, thank you for staying with us as we get into the newspapers. This segment always brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, and they are offering free prostate screening if you're a man out there. Don't wait. If you're in your 30s right now, don't wait till you see any signs, any wrong signals. Just every year, be consistent with it. Check your prostate. I mean, a full medical screening, yes, but check your prostate as well. It's crucial. If you're a woman, do you know your fertility status? Do you know where you stand? Do you know whether you are developing fibroids, for example? It's becoming common nowadays. That is why you can get both of these from Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. They're offering it gratis, completely for free, okay? Make tracks to any of their branches here in Accra. They are at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. In Kumasi, they are at Kronuma here behind the Angel Educational Complex. Then there's Takradia Naji Estate, there's Tema Community 22, there's Techiman Hanswa, there's Siama and Zima. If you'd like to call them, these are the numbers you can reach them on. 0244 867 068, 0244 867 068, or 0274 234 321, 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. But just the start of the news review with my partner in mischief. Oh, I meant my partner in good things. Joseph Akpaloo. The mischief was mischievous. Yeah. I said, but this morning, I love your boots. I saw your boots and I fell in love with them.
Yeah.
I fell in love with your boots.
I got them recently. They are quite expensive, but I mean,
Oh, really?
You have to try, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they are.
Hey, and you are living the life, oh?
No. I got liquidity support from various sources.
Liquidity support,
Yeah.
just to get boots.
Yeah.
But I've noticed you have this love, this penchant for boots. What is it? You wouldn't usually, if you find this gentleman, watch him when he's delivering his reports from court. You would often see him in boots, like boots. Why is it?
I don't like the flat shoes. You know, the one that has something like underneath it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a boy, I used to really hate them. That's all my mom was buying for me. So I always said to myself that. Yeah.
Now that you're a bit older.
Yeah, I always said to myself that when I'm able to afford, I'll just buy what I want to wear. So, I mean, I'm trying to these days wear what I.
Yeah, living up to your. Anyway, it's good to have you join us this morning. Like I would usually do with my guests and even my colleagues here when we have the opportunity of doing this. I'd like to find out from you, what are the highlights of the week for you in terms of those major stories? You've been in court throughout. You followed the Jachikwason trial, the ups and downs. There's Parliament and everything happening there. And now we have the First Deputy Speaker, Joe Wise, saying that this is turning out to be the worst Parliament in Ghana's history. What do you make of it?
I think obviously my highlight would be what's been playing out in Parliament and the courts, because I've been covering that quite closely, and I don't think I would have reason to disagree with Joe Osei in terms of his conclusions about how things have gone in Parliament. And
you think it's turning out to be the worst?
Yes, I don't have any doubt at all. I mean, a lot of people, when Parliament became closely pegged, I mean, the thinking was that it was going to be used to direct government policy. We've not seen that happen. I mean, there are test case, very controversial matters. Let's pick E-levy, for instance. The parliamentary numbers could not be used to ensure that some form of negotiations take place in order to reach a conclusion where it does not come into force. It came into force. Yes, some may argue that it went down to 1%, but I mean, the point really is that it is what people did not want. I mean, we've seen ministers who were appointed and everyone or some analysts made a point that there were too many ministers or some people should not be approved wholesale. They were all approved wholesale. I mean, the most recent one was the three new ministers that were approved, the Trade and Industry, Agric Minister. We had a minority that declared that it was going out all out to ensure that they were not going to approve those three individuals because it was going to add on to the numbers. They were approved anyways.
Fisheries and aquaculture, Mavis Hawakumsin.
I mean, we saw that. I mean, she was one person that the minority drew a red line, I mean, above her name, but she ended up getting
the highest votes,
yes.
Surprisingly.
Yes, I mean, so
you're laying the blame at the doorstep of both political parties.
Yes, it's both political.
So we've seen the fights, the rancor. Carlos Ahinkra, yesterday was his birthday or so, running away with ballots and getting chased.
Yeah.
We have seen the walkouts and so many others. We've seen the Bloody Widow incident, Lady Al Hassan, post the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election. But at the same time, some would say this is what democracy is all about, the push and shove, the back and forth, and that this actually is the best we've had in the Fourth Republic. What would you say to such people?
I mean, to what end exactly? And that's why the minister points you, the deputy speaker points you to the fact that in terms of laws passed, and if you remember the first term under Professor Michael Kwe, that parliament, I remember when they did the review at the end of the session, the conclusion was that it had passed the most bills in the history of the Parliament of Ghana. I mean, you have the Deputy Speaker again making the point that if you compare since 2020 till now, this Parliament may end up at the end as at close of 2024, possibly passing the least number of bills in the history of Parliament.
Is the work of Parliament restricted to, yes, they are lawmakers, but it's also about the quality of bills. It's not about the quantity of bills.
But primarily,
there are certain bills that have been on the table, on the back burner for a long time that we've been talking about, which now are actually coming to the fore. I mean we cannot
granted, no doubt, but
run away from that.
if you want to talk about quality, let's look at quality in this week. One whole week. It's a week where there are questions. A number of questions were actually filed in the name of the minority members of Parliament. Those questions ended up being answered by the minister. There wasn't an opportunity for any proper follow-ups or interrogation of those questions as would happen if they were present in the House. What I'm saying is that it is not unknown to parliamentary culture for MPs to stage walkouts and all those things. What I'm saying is that this parliament as a house has failed to reach consensus when it mattered most. It has also failed to use the strength of its members on both sides to force change when it also equally matters most. So in the end, we have every bit of everything happening. So there are instances when you don't expect consensus is reached behind the scenes. There are instances where you expect people to use their muscle to stop something, they are unable to stop it. So we have
like
a lot
with
of
the e-levy.
So you have a lot of different things happening, but the net effect has not been as impressive as a lot of people would want it to go. And so that is my issue with this particular weekend, how things have gone on in Parliament.
Anyway, so those are his sentiments on happenings, goings on in recent times. But let's get into the papers now, Joe. Let's find out what they have to share with us. You have the Finder and the Daily Guide. It's a bit of a lean morning.
Yes, very lean. I mean,
it's almost as though we were dieting.
Yeah, it's a rainy morning though.
Charlie?
Yeah. So.
This kind of morning, if you are coming from certain places, we at least mistake. You'll be caught somewhere and you will not be able to.
Yeah, it's the kind of morning that when you see sometimes when you wake up, you say that
it nearly happened to me this morning.
You'll be in big trouble.
I was, and then
it's
I realized, hey.
It's very dangerous.
And the rain, especially with our kinds of roads and the craters we have on them, and then the traffic that springs up all of a sudden when it's raining. I don't know. It's almost as though the rains always came with traffic. Like it can even be at dawn. All of a sudden when it starts raining, I think everyone gets in a hurry. Hey, and then
and also because some parts of the road ends up being covered by the rain. So the roads do not become as wide as they often are.
So now you see a number of cars using one lane, trying to squeeze through Nsembebe. But anyway, we'll soon be done with this season. All I am looking at is the next rainy season, which is the heavier one. It's shorter but heavier. And I'm hoping we can put measures in place before then. But let's get into the papers. You have the Daily Guide, the Finder. I have the Daily Graphic. Maybe, just maybe, we may add some online portals. But let's start from your end.
And so the Daily Guide reports this morning that the NPP National Executive Committee discusses special delegates confab. Bugri Nabu aides grabbed over leaked IGP tape. And Abesim killer for High Court is on the front page. And Cassius Mining injunction set for ruling. Interior Minister must act swiftly, so according to the GJA. The back page has this story about I cried for 5 days after World Cup exit. It's coming from Neymar. A deadly shooting overshadows Women's World Cup starts also on the back page. And GFA rolls out 2023-2024 season roadmap. And Ghana maintains FIFA ranking is also over there. So, I mean, a bit of some of the stories that are quite new and broke out yesterday. I think the MPP won. We know that the party has now indicated that they actually had a petition that was filed by 9 flag bearer candidates asking the party leadership to consider the decision to centralize the August 26 special delegates congress. Now, according to the petitioners, the plan to hold a special congress on a regional basis does not sit well with them, arguing that decentralizing an election with only 900 delegates would not be a wise decision. And so the petition was sent to the party. The party met, the highest decision-making body met, and they've come to the conclusion that they would hold it in a decentralized manner. So what will happen is that there will be voting taking place in all the 16 regions. Then there will also be one other center at the headquarters. And sort of for other national officers and other individuals who would be voting.
What do you make of that position, though?
It's weird. I mean, only 900.
I mean, 900. I found it rather
900
curious.
900 can be like, I mean, because the EC, they've decentralized their polling stations now. So 900 can be like maybe some 2-3 polling stations.
It could even, in some areas, be one.
Yes, it could possibly be one. So, I mean, it begs the question. So I don't know what the voting arrangement will be on that day. So for instance, if we are voting across the country and we are done voting, the number of people on the register in each area, if they are done voting, do they wait till 5 p.m. before they close voting and transmit it to Accra? That's the question.
Those dynamics we'll have to find out when the party moves ahead with this. And of course the Electoral Commission also.
But it's interesting that 9 of them. I mean, from our understanding, minus Bawumia, I mean, we understand 9 of them actually took the view that it should be held in a centralized location. I don't know. I mean, that's why would someone?
I wouldn't find it so surprising.
Does it affect it anyway?
I don't find it so surprising because it's always been said that Dr. Bawumia is more or less the establishment candidate, the establishment person. Would he go against establishment? That is the administrative leadership of the party. I don't know. Maybe he has his own opinion and has simply not shared it.
I mean, but do you think
if
it's
9 out of 10 are saying, look, we have questions, hard questions on the matter, I feel the party should listen. You know, sometimes I feel our two political parties, even in their internal politics, it's a bit of a take or leave situation, and this is one of them. It remains to be seen how the party will roll this out and whether they will in fact listen.
I mean, do you think it affects the chances of any of the candidates anyway, whether we are voting at one location at, say, trade fair, and whether we are voting across the country? Does it increase or decrease anyone's chances?
Give or take, it may not. Politics is a curious game. It's an interesting game. And of course, when you have everyone in one location, look, there are some people who, at the very, at the 11th hour, may interact with someone else from some other place and get convinced to vote this way or that. And in a centralized location, I feel then you have that level of accountability. You know what is going on generally. The picture is clear. You remember when the MPP went and John Bwedu was losing. It is clear. Yeah. The writing is on the wall. You can see that generally this is what is going on. JFK is winning. I feel that is the case. When you spread it across the regions, then someone may be in the Ashanti region and say, oh, this region, the way things went there, I'm not happy. I don't feel it was this. I feel that was compromised. I feel that all of that could have been taken away. You have everybody at one location, and please, 900 people, really.
And I think the cost as well. I mean, because, yes, some of the candidates have the financial muscle to effectively have a good monitoring system across the system regions. I do not think all of them have the capacity.
Not all of them.
Do that.
Not all of them. I don't want to mention names, so it doesn't appear I'm denigrating anybody.
We know some of them.
We know that some would struggle, really struggle.
Yeah. So I mean, that's that story from the NPP. There's this other one about Bugri Nabu. This.
Is it about the leaked tape?
Yes, the alleged plot to remove the IGP. He had an interview with Oyerpes Parker Wilson, and there are parts of the interview where he effectively confirms that the recording took place at his place because he says they had come to see him to complain to him about a senior party official, and we are told that 2 of his aides have been arrested. So he says, well, this morning they took the lead that they were going to work, my personal aide, SK, and then my reception. So they've both been arrested. And so I heard from Parliament too, James Agalgo on the Interior, the Security and Defense Committee. So, there's a committee, a special committee that has been set up to investigate the matter.
Bipartisan.
Yes, he says this makes their work easier because they have someone who has admitted to the fact that the recording took place at his place. And so that effectively authenticates the content of the tape to an extent. And they will invite Bugri Nabu to...
who was it that came on this show? There was someone. And the person said, look, if the authorities really want to get into this, all they have to do is go to Bugri Nabu. Why? He's a very honest man, and if it did happen, he'll own up and say, this is what transpired.
And I mean,
I've forgotten. There was a member of, I think it was an NDC.
Yeah, but the funny thing was that even at that time, we didn't even know how Bugri Nabu was connected to this.
Yeah, that's true. We had just heard that it had been conducted in his premises.
Yes.
At his residence.
Yes, but I mean, everyone seemed to, for some reason...
And now he's actually come out to confirm that it did take place, and what we do not know is the motive behind the recording. Anyway.
Some other story in the Daily Guide, there's this mining fight between government and Cassius Mining, and we are told that an Accra court has set July 31 to give a ruling on an application for interim injunction filed by the Attorney General seeking to restrain Cassius Mining Limited from filing another international arbitration against the government of Ghana. And so on that day, they would also make a decision on a preliminary objection by the lawyers for the Australian company regarding the propriety or otherwise of the action initiated against it. And so the Attorney General is seeking to restrain the company from pursuing any arbitration outside Ghana until the pending arbitration processes in Ghana, the Ghana Arbitration Center, are concluded. And the company had actually dragged Ghana to an international arbitration center demanding $300 million. But the AG says, under their mining prospective license,
they want to take all our IMF money. That's literally half of what. And if you look at the attendant costs, surrounding costs, it would actually be more than that sum of 300 million. Anyway,
so you can see why the AG is fighting this one out. Black Sheriff arrested.
I was just about to say, Charlie, what's up with Black Sheriff?
Yeah.
So what does the story say? And let's talk about what is also, out there on social media. What really happened?
The story says he was reportedly arrested at the Kotka International Airport on Wednesday upon his return from a trip. He was picked up by personnel of the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service for his failure to honor his side of a contractual obligation to perform at a show in Greece. So according to a Kofi TV report, he was stopped upon arrival because his name had been placed on a stop list. The report indicated that he was taken to the police headquarters in Accra for further investigations. Details of the alleged arrest had it that he was to perform in Greece on a cruise ship on July 4. He charged $40,000 and he was paid half of the money ahead of the concert. He was to be paid the rest of the money after the concert. Unfortunately, he didn't show up in Greece for the concert. The organizers have therefore decided to take up the matter with the police. And the video on social media captured Black Sheriff being led out of the airport by the police CID. The villain who never was Black Sheriff.
It appears in this instance, he just might be an actual villain. But some of what I've read on social media, and of course this it's still a bit sketchy. We've seen one Danny something, speaking to the issues, but apparently there was a $20,000, so a $40,000 deal.
Yeah, that was a charge.
Half paid the first time, half upon actually carrying out the service that he was supposed to render on this yacht or whatever in Greece. Okay, but Charlie, people they chop on you. Anyway, so that is just by the side. And then apparently he's supposed to make some promos or something, which were not a part of the contract, which he is not allowed to do. And apparently some people, the Grams Morgans and the rest,
I said they tried to
come in, and apparently his management calls their bluff about three, Baba Sadiq among others, and then their bluff is called, and then finally this is the action taken. But if that is the trajectory, then I feel Black Sheriff's management, there may be some question marks in there, because then they've exposed their artiste to unnecessary ridicule. And you never know what such, I learned from the Caleb Kuda happening with national security and all of that, it's a very dicey, I know someone very close to him. I know him, but we are not that close. But some of what I got to know, you have to be very careful. Some people, it's very how they are dealt with in this instance. It can impact them in a lot of ways. And I feel sad that because he has brought a lot of positives, attention to Ghana and all of that. This is a negative I wasn't expecting.
I mean, for me, I heard the gentleman who claimed to have brokered the deal, and from what I heard from him, I also came to the same conclusion that I think our artists, some of them are not taking management seriously. I think some of them are doing so actually, because the discussions on social media, someone was also making a point that if you pick someone like Sarkodie, he's been in the game for a while. I don't recall any publication I've heard somewhere that Sarkodie has taken money from someone and he didn't show up. I've heard it with a number of other artists in some instances.
I mean, and even when they do, even Burna Boy, there are places where, and then apologies will be issued, the right thing would be done. I think this, what's his name? Odoyo, what's that? The Nigerian artist.
Is it Kiss Daniel? He was supposed
to be Daniel. Was it Tanzania, Ghana, among others? I mean, you must do the right things. Madonna had to cancel an entire, but that one, there are medical reasons. There's nothing, it's a force majeure situation.
Yes, but you ought to communicate. It's
exactly the point I was getting.
And you see, even my initial instinct is to say that, look, why is the police arresting him? It's a contract. They should sue him for breach of contract. But then again, my suspicion is that they may be trying to contact them and they are not getting them. And so in this case, they will actually possibly be filing a defrauding.
Honestly, I feel the arrest was a bit of overkill. I feel it was unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, but if you are, if you're unable,
there are processes to trigger.
Yeah, but
there are processes to trigger.
But I mean, I heard a gentleman. He says we can't find him. So I mean, instead of going under a breach of contract, you walk to the police station and say that this guy took your $20,000 that he was going to come.
He's defrauded me, so
he
to
didn't
speak.
come, so he's defrauded me, and the police would have to arrest. So it changes the whole dynamics of a breach of contract into a possible crime that has been committed.
But one thing is for sure, I want to hope that artists in the country will learn a lesson from this.
Yeah.
If you are entering any contractual arrangement with someone, better know what the fine print is, and if they expect X, Y, Z of you. I mean, there are some things I've been doing for some entities over the years. You know exactly what is expected of you, so you don't go outside of that. If you do, you are in breach and you will be held liable. It's just a sorry situation.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we've actually not heard from Black Sheriff.
Yeah, he's come
directly, so we'll be looking forward to hear from them. But I mean, me, I love Blacko. Yeah, he's the Charlie champion. He's the champion.
Charlie, some of his, he has the song with Our Day or something. Sometimes the way he starts a song, the way he comes in, like hard.
Yeah.
Oil in my head.
Yes.
Charlie.
Yes.
Like he comes in, no preliminary way. Like he comes in, boom.
Yeah.
It's not like, artists usually will warm you into a song.
No.
Like, he's covered like a Taliban. Like he comes in hard and the beats and
yeah, man.
I was driving the other day with someone and I was like, Charlie, this song, the way the guy starts, Charlie.
Yeah, you know they take his time.
The fire
that's my
he just comes in beat.
Oil in My Head is my morning drive song. And he said something interesting some time ago, and that's why I'm expecting a song when it comes out. He said that he's a musician. He said he doesn't waste stories. So when something happens to him, he's not going to tweet about it or
Puts it in a song. Next thing.
Charlie said his producers are always, they have a lot of beats. So Charlie, once the beat there, he can't waste the story. You put it on the beat and make money from it. I mean, so.
And that's one thing, I think a niche he's carving out for himself. If you look at rappers and all of that, that's why Nas would be hailed over a Jay-Z,
who
I
love Nas.
Many more platinum. I prefer Nas to Jay-Z. He's a storyteller.
Yeah, storyteller.
For some people, the foremost storyteller in terms of rap music.
He's not your typical wordplay, rhyme kind of guy, but he's telling you a story.
Listen to Sabali, for example, with Damian Marley.
Damian Marley, I love it.
Anyway, let's get into some other stories. The Finder, we have just about 5 minutes, and then, so you finish with The Finder, and then I'll get into
So quickly, the front page stories on The Finder. Portuguese President Lord Ghana's good democratic culture, and 9 MPP flag bearer hopefuls demand centralized special delegates conference. Okay, it's been turned down like we know. A new register for special delegates conference to be ready by end of week is from Justin Frimpong Kodua, and road crashes kill 1,086 in 6 months. Motorcycles alone killed a staggering 459 persons. And so those are the stories in the Finder newspaper. I think you can do the daily graphic now, Ben.
All right. There's this message that comes through. Albert K.A.J. says, I'm praying for the day that the media will stop talking about the MPP and the NDC, but the party themselves will buy their own airtime to propagate their contributions to the nation building. It's a two-way street. If you see us covering an event of theirs, full scale like that, they have paid for it. But when you see us engaging them on policy matters, on governance matters, of course, what would you expect us to do? We would have to bring them here so that we can hold their feet to the fire of accountability. So it's a two-way street, my brother. Anyway, let's the data graphic. 2023 National Insurance Fair, only 1% of public insured. Can you imagine that? 1% of public insured. Insurers Association concerned. Collaborate with government to increase hotel rooms. Tourism Minister to hoteliers. Cleaner loses 4-bedroom house. And then Supreme Court rules on Bank of Ghana revocation of licenses. And that story is also becoming another thorny matter. You remember GN?
Yes.
And
so he had wanted to go, he sued an Article 33 that his rights had been breached. At the high
You're talking of Dr. Papa
Kusindum, because his property had been taken away from him in a manner contrary to the Constitution. And so the BOG raised an objection that under the Banks and Specialized Deposit Taking Institutions Act, you should go to alternate dispute resolution if you have issues with revocation of your license. The High Court disagreed with the BOG. The Court of Appeal agreed with the BOG. Now the Supreme Court has now agreed with the High Court. So they are going back to the High Court to litigate the human rights action as to whether the revocation breached his rights as a Ghanaian.
On the back page, 3 fishermen arrested for fishing during closed season. I saw a thing. Yeah, today. Monday. 3 fishermen arrested for fishing during close season. That's the story. But let me just focus on these ones, and then we can wrap. Now, only 1% of the 37 million population of Ghana are insured, a figure that industry experts have described as disturbing, given the benefits of insurance in every economy. Now, speaking at the opening of a 3-day insurance fair in Accra yesterday, the second vice president of the Ghana Insurers Association, Mabel Nana Nyakwa Poble, expressed concern about the low penetration rate of insurance in the country and called on Ghanaians to cultivate the habit of securing their lives and property through insurance. Okay. Then there's this other story. Let me go to page 13 and do the stories there. So the Supreme Court has declared that the High Court can interrogate the revocation of licenses of banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions, especially with regard to alleged breaches of fundamental human rights. Now, the court held that Section 141 of the Banks and Special Deposit-Taking Institutions Act 2016, that is Act 930, which stipulates arbitration as the means of seeking redress for those whose licenses had been revoked by the Bank of Ghana, did not oust the jurisdiction of the High Court to also determine the propriety of the revocation. So like you said, that is where we find ourselves currently. A cleaner loses 4-bedroom house, and a cleaner and bakery owner whose 4-bedroom house at Mpehwasem in the Greater Accra region, was demolished, is seeking justice a year after the ordeal. Benson Osaya Champong, who works at the University of Ghana, bought the 70 feet by 100 feet plot from the then chief of Mpehwasem in Accra, Ni Soja Obudai, and secured an indenture of the land dated December 31, 2011. An indenture which he showed to the Daily Graphic confirms that Ni Obudai gave the land worth 40,000 Ghana cedis to a Champong on behalf of the Sanshi family of in the Greater Accra region. We have so many, a plethora of such cases, land litigation, immovable property, and I don't know, as for Accra, Charlie, you don't get land for yourself.
If you are not careful, you don't do due diligence, you'll be in big trouble. If you're not diligent about how you go about the checks, Charlie, you end up buying land and even spending more to even decide to even leave the land itself for someone else. It's a big problem.
It's a really big issue. Let me just see whether on the international front we can pick something from there, and then we can go. 1 million more could soon face hunger in Burkina Faso. That's according to an NGO. And we have our own situation here in this country with the numbers that have fallen into poverty and hunger. UK sanctions Wagner leaders over African activities, and UK to confiscate $129 million from Nigerian ex-governor. Now today, on the chopping board, I'm going to be sharing my blunt thoughts as always, and it's quite a pot that I have for you. I'm going to be talking about the cedis flip-flop. You still have to purchase it at around 12 Ghana cedis. I'm going to be talking about the proposed haircuts, or the new ones we're going to have in that second round of a debt exchange program. I'm going to be talking about the SkyTrain project, and wrapping with some thoughts, I couldn't help myself, on the death penalty and the dynamics therein. Those on the chopping board this morning. But let me say a very good morning and happy birthday to Aaron Telfer. Aaron, fantastic guy. I've known you for many years. Today's your birthday, and you are in a UN operation now. I just want to wish you the very best, my brother. Happy birthday to you, Aaron Telfer, and greetings to the family. Bro, we have to go for prime take. Any final thoughts before we run?
I'm very tired. We are grateful that the week has come to an end.
Does the week really end?
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming to work tomorrow, but I mean, it's ended. It's ended anyways. I mean, it's fine. It's been a good week, and we look forward to a great week. And unfortunately, the football seasons are off, so the weekends are a bit dull for a lot of people. I know a lot of our viewers are big football fans. They'll have to make do with other. Some people have started watching tennis and trying to watch other things.
I've always been a fan of tennis, though.
Yeah,
I've been watching it since the days of Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi.
I see. I'm a football boxing. That's just about it.
Oh, we should arrange a match one of these days. Have a display.
I never said I'm a boxer.
No. I'm saying I'm taking you on. We should do something one of these days. After all, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg say they want to
get a license from the
we have to get a license.
Ghana Boxing Authority.
We go do one behind the scenes. Anyway, Joe, thanks for joining the conversation this morning. That is Joseph Akablay, and he heads a certain desk here. Should I tell them? All right. So that is how we wrap up the news review. Of course, always brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. They are offering free prostate screening, free female fertility screening as well. Locate them here in Accra in Spentex, opposite the Shell signboard, Kumasi Kronumabwe here, behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takrade Anaji Estate, Tema Community 22. There's Techiman Hans where there's Yamanzima. Reach them on 0244-867-068 or 0274-234-321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Bringing us to the end of the news review and the start of Prime Take with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. And today, he engages Black Stars and Ashdod left back Montari Khamenei. How did he end up in Israel? What's his story from the sandy patches of Yagabakubori to the green fields and floodlights in Israel? That story up next.
I think my life started at the north, where we grew up, and then school and everything. And also we started from Tamale. That's where we played the Coast League. From under 10 to 12, and from 12 to 17, and also from 17 to maybe one of the second divisions. But I was lucky I didn't get to the first division, where I was picked up by Dreams FC to come to Accra here and then continue my football career with Dreams FC.
When you say your life started from the north, which part of the north?
Yabakubori.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where my life started from. Yeah, and also I'm a Mampusi, so definitely, you find me there.
So you speak Mampuli?
For sure.
The two Mampusis are having a conversation.
For sure.
So, okay, let's just tell the viewers a bit. Do you know that?
La favor.
La favor. So, tell me pretty quick, how was life like in Yakuba?
We can say life is not really easy there, but we will take it normal because, the culture and everything, is different from the city where you can find yourself. So I think life there, but for me, I feel very okay because life there is so simple, because you don't really see much, So I think things there is so easy, and then the culture there is so very good. So I think, life there is good.
How many siblings do you have?
Yeah, I have 4, yeah.
You have 4 siblings?
Yeah.
Are you the only footballer among them?
No, because my brother was playing football, Even he was more serious, and everyone in Tamale knows him a lot.
Okay.
Because he was having the talent more. But, I used to follow him to watch football, like how he play and everything. Everything when they go to play like under 17 league, he play good soccer for sure. But from there I pick it up, because I was having the love and then the passion for the game. So there I pick it up. But for them, they feel like they were doing everything, so they relax. I can be in bed with him, and then maybe 6 a.m. I need to stand up and prepare for my personal training. Even by then, I was not having that mentality, So I think this is where I got it from. So, and then because everybody knew, my brother is gonna play football, blah blah blah. But from there, I got it. And then I start to play and then to see myself moving forward,
But many communities in northern Ghana are predominantly farming communities. How are you combining your quest to play football?
This is what I'm saying, this is the culture, and you can't do away with the culture, so you just need to, know how you schedule your time and then to combine.
Were you in the farm often?
Yeah, for sure, but not really. Even sometimes you go to Makaranta and staffs, all were there, But because you have the love for the game, you just try to find time to play soccer, you understand? And sometimes when you go to play soccer, you have maybe your parents, why you go to play this, why you don't do this, who do you see playing football and blah, blah, you understand? Or do you ever see a footballer build a house before? because they never see, because they don't go out, you understand. So I think, you know, but, you know, along the line, you know, we're able to prove them that, you know, there is something beautiful in soccer, you understand.
So you started your education too in
yeah, I started primary JSS there in Tamale, and also I went to Senior High in Nalirgu.
So you're not Nalirgu?
Yeah, this is where I school at. Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're a product of Nalirgu Senior High.
For sure.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But you mentioned that because your elder brother was playing football, you actually developed the love to play football from there, right? How influential was your brother in your decision to play football?
You know, all the time, you know, I saw like when he played how, like, you know, they give him fans, you know, he was.
So was it the fans that you were so much excited about?
No, but the game itself, you know, it was something that we love, you understand? It was something that we love, and then something that we want to do. Because some time ago, also, like, I saw him that, you know, he was pushing so hard, you know, to make it up. But from there, I also tried to, you know, to play a little bit. And, you know, from where they were playing, they were having a lot of fans, a lot of people, they know them because they were playing the main city in Tamale. But for us, you know, we're down, you know, the city, you know, not a lot of people, like, you understand. But, you know, we're able to push so hard and then to find ourselves, you know, doing something which, you know, we love.
So you left the village early? Did you leave?
Yeah, very early, very early.
And then you're a city boy, because Tamale is a city.
No, I know it's a city, but, you know...
You didn't endure the Yagba hardship?
No, I did.
You did small?
Yeah, I did.
Small?
I did.
Not plenty?
Even when the air just hit you, you know, it's something hard.
When was the last time you had the hoe?
Eh?
The hoe or machete to
I can't remember.
You can't remember, so you're a city boy?
But I know I'll try to do something like this, you know. If I have time, I need to travel to the village, you know, to practice this, to see how the body will feel, or how the body will cope to the culture there, you know. So.
Was there money at home growing up?
No, not at all. Not at all. You know, even to buy boot or something, it's always difficult, you know. But, you know, your dad, your mom always try to, you know, to be on the market just to put something on the table, you know. But as you're growing up and then you find that, or maybe you see that things are not good at home or money is not there, you know, you need to push hard just to at least bring something on the table. So I think it was all motivation, like, you know, something that, you know, you don't need to sleep. You don't need to sleep, you need to push on, like, just to bring something home, make them proud, and maybe tomorrow when they ask something, you know, you can give them back, or you can support, you know, whoever who is around the family, you can support them. So for sure, you know, beginning and then starting my football career, or maybe at the north or where it is, you know, not easy because money wasn't at home at all, you know. But
I don't know whether you've ever woken up without food on the table.
For sure. You know, a lot of times, you know, a lot of times.
So when you look back at that and today, how would you describe it?
I would say Alhamdulillah, you know. I would say Alhamdulillah because we've seen a lot. And then for me, I would say a lot because I wasn't like having those things. So for me, from now, I see myself like, you know, the blessing that God gave me, I thank God and Alhamdulillah. I know I've not reached, you know, where I want to be, but for what I have, or maybe the opportunities that, you know, I got along the line, I will say Alhamdulillah.
Talk to me about Zaytuna United. What were those days like?
Before I start, maybe from there, I will say a big thanks to the head coach and Coach Dawood. You know, he has really done a lot for, you know, for the club, and then the hard work that he put on, you know, it really pays off. Because not only me, you see, Fatah Isako is from the same club. Aziz Yakubu from China, David Abagna, Abu Karisma, you know, a lot of professionals coming from Zaytuna Babies, you know. And even if I'm not wrong, like Tamale like this, if you want to count the young professionals, I think Zaytuna babies, they produce a lot, like 5 or so, I think. Yeah, and then we all started from there, you know, from the ground, like barefooted and everything, you know. But, you know, we never stop, we just keep going. And then, God willing, you know, we're able to, you know, make it to the top.
I remember when you were talking, you mentioned that there were times your parents would go like, have you ever seen a footballer build a house and all that? And all
Yeah.
But how were you able to still motivate yourself and still get it done?
Because sometimes you consider something because, you know, for our parents, they don't move out. They don't go out. They don't really see like a lot of stuff, you know, but we go out. Because by then, when you go to the main city, you can be hearing names like Wakaso, you can be hearing names like
Shila Yasu,
by then, Rabi Mohammed, you know, Majid Waris, Baba Ram. You can be hearing names like this. And then you've seen what, you know, they've done, you know, you've been watching them on the tele playing football, playing for the nation. And then you see, you understand me? So for them, you know, this is what we considered, you understand? And we said, no, you know, we are out there and we know what is going on. So we need to do what? We need to push on to also find our way and then to get to the top or to follow their back. You understand me? So I feel like maybe they don't know like how important, you know, soccer is and what you can get from soccer, and then, you know, it can help your life, your family, your loved ones, and then the people around you.
At what age did you join Zaytuna Babies?
I think I was 10 years, you know,
wow,
when I joined.
You started playing football very early?
Yeah, very early. Even I had a picture with Fatah.
Oh, okay.
You know, when he was also small.
Yeah.
You know. So by then, after we played the under 10, we moved to under 12, and then Fatah was playing because he was little.
Yeah.
So he was playing by then under 10. Just small. He was small by then, you understand.
If you have just joined us here on Prime Take, we are speaking to Muntari Kamehini, and he's been sharing with us his life story, how he started, and we are moving on to talk about his journey from Zaytuna Babies to Dreams FC. Tell us, at what point did that call for you to move from Zaytuna Babies to Dreams FC happen?
You know, I think they wanted to scout some place. Yeah. I think they give some specific positions, you know. I think they wanted midfielder, left back, and then a striker.
Okay.
So I think they talked to one of our boss in Tamale. He's called Dahim.
Yeah.
I think he's the CEO of Steadfast.
Oh, okay.
He's the CEO of Steadfast. So they talked to him, and then they just connected. And then they said, okay, they will come to see us play, for them to see. You know, they also have one man in Tamale called Coach Abdallah.
Coach Abdallah?
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. So they called him, and then he just came to see how we train, you know. And then he called them, and they said, okay, let them come to Accra here, and then we'll see how it will go, how the process will go. So from there, we need to fly to Accra and then train with 3 weeks, and then they will make decision, you know, something like this. And then after we come back to join the team. I think by then, you know, Dreams FC was in first division. Yeah. So I think then, you know, we qualified to the Premier. And
so you played with them when they qualified to the Premier League?
No, I didn't play with them because by then we were young. So they divide the team, and then they make the like junior team and then the senior team. The senior team played.
You were with the Still Belief?
Yeah. I was the captain of the Still Belief. Yeah. So from there they separate the team.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we were competing with like the second division, like here in Accra. Yeah. So this is how we started the journey in Dreams FC, you know. And then from there, at the end of the season, they promoted us to the senior team.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, the senior team, definitely you got to meet senior players, you know, a lot of players because they were having...
so you met the likes of Leonardo Wusu?
Yeah, I played with him, you know, Leonardo.
Oh, you played with Leonardo?
Yeah.
And then there was... Did you play with Zuberi too?
Yeah,
Zuberi Sharani?
Yeah, I played with him.
Oh, okay.
Zuberi Sharani, Leonardo. Alabi, you know, a lot of, we're all in the same, you know, place, everything. So from there, you know, they were also like more experienced players, you know, like who has been in the game for so long. Like I think one of the senior players were like, what's the name? Bashiru. You know.
Yeah, Abdul Bashiru.
Abdul Bashiru.
Yeah, he was the captain of the team for 2016.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, he was playing as a left back.
As a left back, yes.
So you know, and you know, by then CK was the coach.
Yeah.
You understand? So you know, when you
this was 2016.
Yeah, when you are in a club like this and you are a young player, you know, with this kind of experienced players, yes, you can push yourself to play, but you won't really get the enough time. You understand? So, and then God willing, you know, I think one club, Brekum Chelsea or something like this, wanted him, so he need to move to.
CK?
No, I'm talking about
Bashiru. Bashiru. I remember. Yeah.
So when he moved, then I had a chance to play, and then you know, it just started there, you know.
So it was the exit of Bashiru that gave you an opportunity to play.
Yeah, because when he moved, you know, and it.
I remember when he was moving, there were so many stories. So why is he not moving abroad? And
but because if he was playing back then, come on, you know, like it was gonna be so difficult. You understand? Maybe if maybe miracle happened, I don't know.
maybe if he hadn't moved, it was very difficult for you to break through.
For sure, to break through. You know, you know, something happened before, you know,
another door open
you understand? So you just take it from there.
Okay. Then you came in, just within a brief period with Dreams FC. Pap, you were out of the country.
Yeah. You know, because as you see, you can see Dreams FC, you know, they have vision, especially for the young players. You know? And they have more connections, more link-ups, you know, when we talk about football and stuff. So when you are playing and you are more serious, and you know, because every season they bring agents from, you know, different kind of different countries, and you understand. So for the players to play, and then they will see. And then when you are lucky, and then you push hard and they pick you up, you know, you go to continue your football career abroad. So I think that is how it started, you know. But I went to the national team before I moved to Europe. Yeah.
Which are the national teams?
Under 20.
Under 20?
Yeah, under 20.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that was 2019 or 2018. Ending of 2018, something like this, to 2019.
Oh, okay. I understand we're under the normalization committee.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can remember, yeah. So we even played Waffle tournament, I think, in Togo.
Okay, so you were part of the group that went to Togo for that Waffle competition.
Okay. And then after, we came back, and then we prepared for the AFCON in Niger.
In Niger?
Yeah. That is where we played the AFCON. Yeah. So in the Waffle tournament, I started at the bench, you know.
Yeah.
But in the last game, we played against Nigeria.
Yeah.
So that is when I got my chance, and then though we lost the game, but you know, I was able to put on some good performance and everything. So it gives me opportunity, you know, to go for the World Cup. AFCON rather.
Yeah, for the AFCON. But tell me, how would you describe your days at Dreams FC?
Let me say it was amazing, because we always all the time we were in the north playing football and everything, and then you know, you had opportunity, you come to the city or maybe this south to continue your football career. Then you know, everything is different, because the coaches, the management, everything is different. It's not like maybe where you were you played before in the north, you know. So I think everything there was different. And then how we train, you know, you need to cope, you understand, everything, because you are just from the north, so you need to cope and everything. And sometimes to the language barrier, you know, because a new boy from the north, no any language.
But we speak English with them?
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, it's a little bit
difficult.
Yeah, difficult. You can speak, but, you know, I think the local language is more fast, you know, to communicate to someone, I think, yeah. So yeah, so from there, you know, we're able to push ourselves, you know, with the likes of Coach Zito, you know. I think he's all the time I thank him a lot, and I pray to him, you know, whatever he is or find himself, I pray for him to succeed, because yeah, he has really done a lot in our lives.
He's done a lot for you.
Yeah, as a coach, as a father, like, you understand, keep to advise you, keep to push you. Yeah, because he gave me even captain, you know, because when it's, you understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think he has done a lot.
Was it difficult to settle at Dreams FC?
You know, in the beginning, you know, we never find it easy. We never find it easy, but along the line, you know, we're able to cope and then settle ourselves, you know. Yeah.
Okay, so and then from Dreams FC, then you moved to Israel, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, even before we talk about Israel, let's talk about the under-20, right? The national team is an area that mostly sells young talents to us, but unfortunately, you never had the opportunity to play as many matches as possible within the under-20.
Yeah.
But still, you were able to stand out. You got opportunity to travel and all that.
Yeah, because for me, I always put in my mind that sometimes it's not about national, or maybe when you find yourself in one of the national team that can make you like maybe to be in Europe or to be in, no, you know, I never have like that kind of mentality, because I always try to say, oh, no matter what, I'll be able to move to the top. So though I had like or I played like little games, or you know, not much time, but you know, after that I just talk to myself, no, you know, we can stop here, whether national, whether I'm there, I'm not, I just need to push on, you know, because I know that definitely, you know, one day the door will open, you know.
And the door's open?
For sure. Even after the under-20, we came to, they call, I think 11 players of us or something like this to join the under-23.
Okay.
Yeah. And that time we were local players by then, I can remember, yeah.
And what happened?
Yeah, you know, I think they were going to play a tournament, I think in Egypt or so, 2019, something like this.
And the 23 AFCON in Egypt.
Exactly. So
this was November 2019.
Yeah. So I think by then you know, some players came in, and then, you know, we had to.
They had to relegate you before.
Yeah, we understand.
Because I remember that was when the likes of Joseph Pins or Martinez and Co were all called up to come into the team. You've worked with the likes of Abdul Karim Zito, Ketu Kreku, Mohamed Alifu, CK Akuno. So tell me, what kind of a person is CK Akuno? What kind of coach is he?
You know, for me, he's the best. You know, he's the best, because he will tell you, if it is this, he will tell you that this is how it is. You understand? Because I can remember he traveled to Germany, and then when he was coming, he brought new shoes, like football shoes. And then you know, like I think we were training or something that way, and I had a problem with my shoes, so he had to remove the shoes and walk. He removed the shoes, gave it to me to train, and then he left the shoes for me. And then he walked that way till like he went to take his car and then went home like that.
Really?
Yeah. So trust me, I'm telling you this, you know, he's the best man. He's the best man, best coach, you know, and a great personality. I'm telling you this. He walked with his stockings on his legs, entered the car and moved home. You know.
And
that was my first time I wore like
proper shoes,
because it was from Germany, you know, when Siki was coming down, you know, proper one.
You had never worn proper shoes before?
No, because when you are here, when you are going to buy a proper shoe, it will cost you like 200 euros.
Yeah, 200, 300 euros and all that. Where you going to get kind of money from?
From if I'm still a local player. So.
But now you can buy.
For sure.
You know. How many can you buy?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe more.
Then talk to me. What kind of a person is Zito? What kind of a person is Ketu Kweku?
I told you, you know, Coach Abdul Karim Zito, you know, he's just like a father, because I can see that whatever he's working with. He teach you football. He teach you life, off the pitch, on everything. He's someone that, you know, great experience, like, you know about the life, he know football, and he has seen a lot. So if you're a young player, you're working with Zito, I can say you are blessed, you know, because he can teach you a lot. And you know, sometimes it's not about football, but sometimes you need to learn life also, like you need to know, like, off the pitch. You need to know about yourself, how like you can keep yourself, you know, as a professional footballer, because you are praying that one day you'll be a professional footballer. So you need to learn that to have a good personality, you know. So I think when you meet or you're working with Karim Zito, I think, you know, you are blessed because you need to learn all those stuffs, you know.
We are still here on Prime Take speaking to Montari, and he's spoken to us a lot, from Yagba Kubori to the floodlights in Israel. Now, he's thought about working with the likes of CK Akuno. He's a former coach of the Black Stars. He's told that about working with the likes of Edward Karim Zito, a man he describes as a father figure. Now, I want to find out from him, because some of the people he worked with, Kecho Kriku was the executive chairman of Dreams FC when they had the likes of Abdul Karim Zito, when they had CK Akuno in there. And these are people that he's worked with. But Kecho Kriku himself is not a GFA president. They were together 2016. 2016, 3 years on, Kecho Kriku became GFA president of the Ghana Football Association. And he's now in charge of governance of football in this country. So, Montari, tell me, how did you feel when Kecho Kriku became GFA president?
Yeah, when I heard the news, like, I was so happy, you know, because looking at it like a person, like this kind of people with, you know, like big brains, like, you know, and they find themselves in those kind of positions, you know, like whatever they are, like, or any country they are, you know, they can project or maybe they can promote like the football. You understand me? So when I heard the news, I said no, you know, I was so happy, and then the other way around too, I wasn't all that much like surprised, because I know what he can do. You understand me? Because I know the kind of
brains he's got.
Brains, you know, he got. And he know much football. He know more about football. So, and you know.
So would you say that the leadership of the football in Ghana should give an opportunity to continue as president?
For sure, you know, because looking at things, you know, what, you know, he has done so far, like, you know, it's amazing, you know. You understand me? Because, you know, he tried to make sure that, you know, everything will be will be in place, like, you understand me? And then trust me, there are more plans that he got for the country. There are more plans, you know. Because, you know, you need to put someone who have like the bigger brains, like, to be able to do
vision
what? For the game.
Yeah.
So that to be able to do what? To promote the football in every sector, you understand? Be it national or like GP, Ghana Premier League, or whatever it is, you understand? And you know, he's doing it, you know.
How do you feel when people criticize him?
You know, I always say that, you know, in this world, whether you do bad, they will talk, whether you do good, they will criticize. Everything you do, you know, and football is all about that. Even for us playing the football, this is how it is. People who criticize you, you know, you understand. But it depends on you how you're going to take it, you understand me? But you don't need to pay more attention to people who, like, in your life who criticize you, and, you know, you understand. Just try to pick something good out of that. So I think, you know, for him, you know, the brain that, you know, he has is, you know, it's more like, it's more than that, or it's more what people are talking, you understand me? It's more what people are talking.
So would you say that those of us, or those who criticize Kurt, they don't know the kind of person he is, and the knowledge and the vision he's got for Ghana?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I can't tell maybe those who criticize them that they don't know. You understand? Because this is what they say, like, you know, this is what they see, and they want to talk about that. You understand me? So if someone criticizes you about something, you know, like, You don't need to tell the person you don't know. Maybe this is what they see. You understand me?
So you have to work to prove them wrong.
And this is what I'm saying. The brain that he has is more, or he's seeing like far beyond maybe what people are talking, you understand? But I feel sometimes, you know, like patience is everything, you know, when people talk, blah, 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 and stuff like this. So, and you see, it's like everything is gradual, you know. He's making more waves, he's promoting, you know, everything, you know. And let me say, not even one day God used to create the earth.
Yeah.
Not one day. You understand me? So even if God never used one day to create something,
what about human being?
What about human being? So it's all about patience, you understand?
So Ghanaians should be patient.
It's like a process.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, but even like if I say patience, like it seems like maybe when you are not doing something good and someone tell you, oh, you need to be patient with this person. No, but he's doing the job. Because he's a hardworking man, he's doing the job. So if he's doing the job, you know, what do you want again? You know, you understand me. And trust me, if you have someone who got the vision, who got like the plans and everything, you know, it's all about time and process, you understand? And you see that everything, and you can see he has done a lot. Sharing booths like football shoes to the clubs, the pitches and everything.
Yeah,
you know,
sharing football
you understand,
to clubs
something
themselves.
That never happened before.
Yeah.
You understand? So this one need to tell you now, people who are criticizing, this one alone need to tell you that, oh, you know, there is...
When the resources are there,
you understand,
do more.
There is something big coming.
Good morning, Ghana. For time now for blunt thoughts from yours truly. My name is Benjamin Akpaloo. Now, as we get into my thoughts for today, stay with me every step of the way, because what I have to share with you borders on our national life, as always, and I always share thoughts with you that will get us reflecting on Mother Ghana and the way forward. No one wants to remain static, even worse, retrogress, go back, which is why this morning I've titled my blunt thoughts, Building Castles in the Air, Fanciful Projects That Lead Nowhere. Building castles in the air, fanciful projects that lead nowhere. You know, in this country, a lot of what we do in terms of governance reminds me of that saying. It's an adinaton, right? A form of hyperbole that exaggerates a situation to create the impression of improbability or impossibility. It's a literary device. And that literary device I'm referring to is when pigs fly. If someone says to you when pigs fly, they're just telling you that, look, this is highly improbable, highly impossible, and you're just blowing hot air, so to speak. I could say same for many of the projects that we've brought to bear in this country. And we see the signs written on the wall, from one village, one dam, to one district, one factory, to planting for food and jobs and all of that. If we critically assess all of these projects, we'll come to the same conclusion. They lead absolutely nowhere. Which is why I'm also going to be looking at a number of matters today, including the SkyTrain, which has led us nowhere, Ghana for. But come with me to the slides. In recent times, ahead of the 25th of this month, and what we can expect by way of the mid-year budget review, we hosted a number of these business figures right here in our studios. I was here, and here are some of what they had to say. You see, I'm concerned because we spoke about never going to the IMF. Then we went to the IMF. And then we spoke about how much the IMF would be able to help us go above water. It appears that is not happening. The business space is getting asphyxiated. And that is reflected in the statements of the business community. So let's find out what they are saying. GUTA, for example, the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Dr. Joseph Obeng, it's an honorary bit, so Joseph Obeng says, the stability of the cedi has not reflected on prices of goods and services. So the cedi, at a point it was going for about 16 cedis to the dollar. Plus, that's how bad it was. There is some semblance of stability. But even then, it's still pegged around 12. How do you expect students, people traveling, to make it? Purchasing a ticket now is a big headache. There are many things. Look, there's a car battery that I have to get. These car batteries that you were getting for 400, 600 for new. Now, trust me, if you go on the market, you are getting it for about twice the same sum. Why? So he says stability of the cedi has not reflected on prices of goods and services. And that's also because the business community has incurred losses and they'll keep passing them on till they sort of break even. Till when? That is the question. Our cedi is still flip-flopping, hence the title. Now, the depreciation of the cedi has had a toll on businesses. You just have to look out there, go out there. If you're a business person, if you're making purchases, you'll see it, you'll feel it. He who feels it knows it, yeah? We cannot define stability by just measuring 3 months' performance. So yes, we have the IMF money, and we think after 3 months, no, we can't measure it. But as time ticks, we need to do more to shore up our economy. And the gains of the current stability have been taken away owing to, pay attention, the high cost of doing business, taxes, benchmark reduction policy, among others. The high cost of doing business is still something that is staring the business community in the face. We're talking about taxes. The taxes. And Ken Oforiatta, I am hoping that in the mid-year budget review, you are not going to be telling us about any new taxes. I'm hoping and praying. I know you'll be dressed in all white with your gold chain, with your bag, coming smiling. But this is no smiling matter. I'm telling you that on behalf of Ghanaians. Now, when we go to the next slide, there's also talk about 2 new haircuts. 2 new haircuts that is staring us or are staring us down the face or down the road. 2 new debt restructuring programs for 809 million Ghana cedis. Now, these are 2-pronged. They target holders of dollar-denominated bonds. If you're in there, or cocoa bills as well, the cocoa bonds. They were left out the first time. Now, it's looking like a very different picture. It appears we are mopping up the entire space. Everybody is feeling the pinch. Everybody. Even former Chief Justice Sophia Kufu. We saw her picketing. Everybody is feeling the pinch. The program for Cocoa Bond allows cocoa bill holders to exchange for longer-term bonds with lower coupon rates, and new bonds will mature consecutively from 2024 to 2028. Look at the time duration. Offers accepted until the 31st of July, 2023. It's a really tight space, difficult space we find ourselves in right now as a country, and only God knows how ordinary folk are making it. Well, let's go to the next slide. If you look at these 2 new haircuts and then put them side by side with what we're seeing, 850,000 Ghanaians per World Bank data fell into poverty in 2022 due to rising prices and reduced purchasing power. This is about 0.7% of our population, almost 1 million, okay, fell into poverty just last year. Inflation in Ghana negatively impacted households' living standards by eroding their purchasing power. You have this double-pronged, in fact, multi-pronged assault on your pocket. And yet, look at our people in government. They are living large. I was sharing the other day, look, I know people, staffers at the Jubilee House. If you see the things some of them are doing, less older than we are, no real work experience. All of a sudden, they are putting up houses, not a house, houses, and purchasing cars. And you ask yourself, where did they get all of this from? If the largesse is there, why not spread it across? So a few people will keep living well, and the masses will keep sleeping rough. How can that be leadership? That is why I call these misleaders what they are. Misleaders. Next slide. But then we come to the Accra SkyTrain project. Ghana, Behold your sky train that never materialized. Even the one on the ground, the seat top, they go do sky. Building castles in the air. Fanciful projects that lead nowhere. $2 million paid to Africa Investor Holdings Limited. $2 million. Imagine what that could do for your road. That school without desks. That school under trees. That place without water. Imagine what this could do. You want to do this? Fine. Accra wouldn't be one of the worst places to bring it forth. But what do you have to show? It's not just about policy formulation or the talk. It's about achievement. What is governance without delivery? If in political science, they'll tell you, people vote parties into power to deliver the bacon. And if you don't deliver the bacon, away. That's it. That's how we have to get. That should be our thinking, Ghana 4. And that is how we are going to progress. Let's move on to the next slide. Which brings me to this point. The minority in Parliament, in fact, pictured here, governs Kwame Agboja, ranking member on the Roads and Transport Committee. Minority in Parliament calls for prosecution of Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund Board and management. They must answer questions. I don't know about prosecution, but I feel they definitely have to answer questions on this matter. Payment was made without feasibility studies getting completed. Payment was in breach of Article 181 of the Constitution, and we know what the stipulations are. And the Auditor General's 2021 report raised concerns about the payment. So why did we still go ahead, if not for nefarious reasons? Corruption, igari ewo maimu. I say key soap. Or is it alata seminar? We use it to bath every day. The president recently was talking about the fact that in the church, let's focus on the church, because you people who are always criticizing politicians, the politicians form just a small portion. You are also guilty, and that these people come from your stock. I agree with you, Mr. President. But you see, whenever there's a bottleneck, someone said the problem is always with the neck. And where is the neck of the bottle? At the top. So lead and let us follow. You are the father. If the fish will get spoiled, it starts from the head. Have you dealt with the rot you are sitting on? I agree. The church and all religious groups and all of us must contribute our quota. And as we criticize, we must be responsible. But how about you, Mr. President, and what you're overseeing? Let's go to the next slide. Now, I want to wrap with the death penalty and the bills involved. I just want to get us thinking, Ghana 4, about this bit. Now, scrapping the death penalty, according to Cletus Avoka, who is against it, will embolden criminals, he says. Death sentences will appeal more to victims' families, he says. So as some sort of retribution. You killed our person, we'll also kill you. The sponsors have not adequately addressed the side of victims, he said, and people on facing life sentences can escape given the country's political system. That is what he proffers, or that is what he suggests. There is some reason in what he says. But let's look at the other side, and I'll leave you, Ghana 4, to draw your own conclusion and decide where you think we should be going. Next slide. Now, if you look at Amnesty International, it says condemned cells where prisoners under death sentence were held were reported to be overcrowded, insanitary, with prisoners forced to sleep on the floor and suffering ill health as a result of malnutrition and a lack of medical care and exercise. You know, there are some prisons you go to and still you will have a certain quality of life. In Ghana, Chale, no be so like that. I remember Operation Efiase and how much the 1 Ghana that they used to survive on. Now, even our school feeding, they are surviving on 97 pesos. There was supposed to be an increment of a 1 cedi, 20 pesos. I don't know whether that has taken effect yet. But look at the parity and look at what kind of life would you live on 1 cedi a day. Next slide. So we really have to contemplate. Next slide. Let's go to the next slide. And this is where we wrap. And I want you to draw your conclusion. If you look at the death sentence and prison conditions, and by the way, in this Fourth Republic, we have not actually executed anybody. According to Amnesty International, those are death sentences in Ghana between 2010 and 2022. In 2010, we had 17, 4 in 2011, 27 in 2012. That was quite a shoot up, the highest we've seen. 2013 had 14, 2014 had 9, 2015 had 18, 2016 had 17, 2017 had 7, I said lotto numbers. Wow. 2018 had 12, 2019, 18, 2023, 2021, 7, 2022, 7. I feel capital punishment has had its day. Maybe it is high time we as a people had our way. Even in biblical times, people were sentenced to death, yes. But if you look at the current dynamics, we're sentencing people to death. We're not even executing them. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but I am saying there are reasons for both sides. Where do we find the middle ground? Is there even a middle ground? It's a discussion I wanted to put out there. I'll not share my personal sentiments, but I wanted to put it out there for all of us to reflect so that we can also impact the decisions that our lawmakers will make on that matter. But I go back to the title as I conclude. Our leaders must cease building castles in the air. You can't build castles in the air. The fanciful projects that are leading nowhere should come to a halt. Let's be realistic. Let's be real in leadership and deliver the goods not just to party people, but to ordinary Ghanaians, the suffering masses who cannot even get food, 3 square meals in a day. Mr. President, my name is Benjamin Akakpo. I share these thoughts always with you because I'm passionate about the brand called Ghana. These are my blunt thoughts shared with you this morning, raw, hot, unedited, undiluted. God richly bless Ghana and make her great and strong. Well, thank you for staying with us on the AM show. It's time now for us to get into our big stories. And today we're hosting a gentleman. He's a businessman, a man of many things, and he's also tried a few times now to become president of this country without success. He leads the LPG, the Liberal Party of Ghana. And today he joins us for a conversation on matters of national scope, not just the politics, but also governance matters and everything in between that is happening. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Kofi Akpaloo. He joins us for this conversation. A very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for hosting me.
You have a very colorful outfit this morning. Is it the weather or?
It's a Friday wear.
It's Friday wear. That's interesting. So it's been a while since we had a conversation.
It's true.
On this show. And today you show up. I just want to find out from you, the LPG, is it still alive?
Yeah, we are more than alive.
Is the LPG still alive?
Yes, it is.
I mean, others have started their campaigns. The MPP, of course, they are heading towards their primary, and we'll get into that. The NDC has already started, and they are. You want to rub shoulders with these guys, these parties, and I don't see a scintilla of action from the LPG. What is happening?
Maybe you are not watching.
I'm not on the ground, eh?
Yeah, you are not watching because LPG is everywhere now. You find at least you see my poster. You see my poster.
I have seen some of your mini billboards.
Yes, all
in many different places.
Okay. All over the country.
But is that your campaign strategy? Is that your campaign?
Yeah, because you see, we are just a small party. We're trying to rub shoulders with the big guys, and that is another strategy that we can adapt by making sure at least somebody will be talking about it. You will see the poster and say, "What is this? Is the person alive or dead or something like that?" You know, it just strike conversation and people start talking about it. And those who are looking for a third force now begin to think that, if this guy is serious, we'll support him. So one way or the other, we are getting more people joining us on a daily basis. And we know we have our phone number at the bottom of it, and people are calling us, showing interest to be part and parcel of the party. So it's helping us. It's, I mean, giving us the visibility because people are getting to know us, knowing that it's another party aside MPP and NDC. And LPG, to us, we are doing better than previous.
You're doing better than previously. If you look at your electoral fortunes, they have been nothing to write home about. You have not been able to claw away. You've not shown a sign that you could be that third force. If you look at the number of votes you've garnered over time, the 2 or so elections you have been in, it's been a very poor showing. Now, people of Ghana are complaining badly. They are tired of the misrule, misgovernance, misleadership. And some of them feel outfits like yours are not living up to the billing in order in creating that third wheel for them. How do you respond to that? Because if you look at your electoral outcomes, they point to a certain grave narrative.
Yeah, it's good that they have identified our weaknesses. And it means they have the strength to fill that laguna. So they should come on board, support the idea, and let's do it together. Because it's a political party. It's not a one-man business.
So are you basically by this throwing an invitation to ordinary Ghanaians of goodwill to join your party?
Exactly. We need everybody on board. Because we ourselves alone cannot do it. We need everybody. So your strength, when you complement with us, we'll be able to do a lot. Because we believe in synergy. You know, if we put our heads together, we can do great stuff. So we are inviting everybody this morning to join forces with the LPG. Let's work together. We initiated this beginning of last year, that all the smaller parties, we should all come together and form the kind of alliance to go into the 2024 elections. And it wasn't successful. So we decided to go.
Why do you think it wasn't successful?
Yeah, because the players were not forthcoming. So
which players?
I'm talking about those who are leading the other political parties. So we couldn't materialize. So that's why we decided to go solo and then make sure we sell what we can to the people for them to buy into. So we need everybody on board. If you are a liberal person or somebody who believes that there is potential in this country, we should join forces with us. Let's work together and let's do it.
Kweku Owusu is watching us from Manchester. Thank you so much for doing the watching, Kweku Owusu, all the way from Manchester in the United Kingdom. But while you call upon ordinary Ghanaians to join the LPG, the Liberal Party of Ghana, I'm sure they will also be asking the question, but what incentive are you giving me to be able to join your party? What is it? Is it a clear roadmap that you have that will turn our fortunes around? I'm sure many Ghanaians will also look at you and say, look, the NDC and the MPP, they have a certain machinery, huge, vast machinery, not just financial resources, a support base, and some credentials. Over the Fourth Republic, having won elections, gone in opposition, having won elections and gone into opposition. They have that. Your party doesn't have that. What are you using to convince ordinary Ghanaians that they should come on board and join the LPG? Are you getting...
Yes,
I'm sure many Ghanaians, like we usually say, 40% on any given day would likely fall for the NDC and for the MPP. What then happens to those in the middle? How do you convince them?
What I'll tell them is that they should always believe in small beginnings. They should have that belief that something starting small like this, you look at it and see what role you can offer to make it bigger. Because, you know, some people came together to form MPP. Some came together even though it was a ruling kind of party or something like that, and then they removed the P to make it NDC. So definitely people came together with that understanding that they can manage Ghana. So if you are there and you see a lot of issues surrounding this country, and then you believe that it can be solved by yourself, why don't you join forces with that so that we can have the opportunity, the platform to get that problem solved. Because we have a lot of problems going on in this country.
We know the problems. It's the solutions we want.
Yeah, the solution is that you have some of the solution. I have a bit of it. One person cannot have all. So it's a collective effort. Bring your ideas, let me bring my ideas, let's put them together, and let's see what we can do together.
So another thing that the bigger parties have over the smaller ones is the pool of, should I say, resources, human resource.
Yeah. Both.
They would have, people with a certain clout, people with vast knowledge and experience in energy, in law, in education, and all of that. That is what you need in terms of governance.
Yeah.
Do you have any of that? I mean, how realistic is it for you? Do you have any of that?
Oh, I can invite anybody at any point in time to solve a problem. It doesn't matter whether the person is part of my party or it's not part of my party. So far as the person have the requisite know-how, I should be able to bring the person on board and say, hey, please, let's do this. Let's do it well. Because it's all about building a future for the generation unborn. We need to prepare this land for them. And we cannot leave it anyhow. We need to have that understanding that you are not doing it for Kofi Akpaloo, but rather you are doing it for the kids who are yet to be conceived in the womb. Because we have to prepare this country for them. And so if you have any idea, if you have any experience, you have any special qualities, why not? We will involve you to do it, because this country belongs to all.
So you're going to be liberal. You're going to live to the name of your party and be liberal.
Yes, we are
in
liberal.
terms of bringing other people into the
Exactly.
frame. The only difficulty there is though is that oftentimes, like we see with the big parties, once you get bigger, then you start focusing on internal interests, like we see the boys, jobs for the boys and girls, and all of that. But let me just run this angle by you. There are some who say, why some of the smaller parties like yours are not viable, you are not making any progress, is the fact that some of you are just doing business with it. Some of you just want to have it on your CV that I have contested as a presidential candidate in Ghana. It adds to your business appeal, doing business out there. In fact, some suggest that parties like yours, you merely come to add to the numbers and foil other parties. One party contracts you to come and muddy the waters for another party. How do you respond to that?
In fact, they may be right.
They may be right.
They may be right. But you see, every party has its own purpose.
Just before you go, when you say they may be right, does that mean your party as well?
No.
You have succumbed to such?
Our party is not like that. Our party is trying to fill the laguna between the MPP and NDC, because we are a liberal party. We are part of the Liberal International. We are part of the African Liberal Network. Our focus is promoting liberalism, okay, in here. So we are not working for NDC, neither are we working for MPP. We are working for the liberal purpose. That is why we are here. So we came and we met a couple of parties, and some, have, I don't know whether they faded out or whatever, So, but we are still around because our target is different from their target.
You say you are here for the liberal purpose. Let me ask you, what is that liberal purpose?
It's to make sure we promote fundamental human rights, to make sure we have free enterprise, making sure those who are in the lower classes, we are able to lift into the middle class, helping the middle class, making sure we have lower taxes. That is the agenda, making sure fundamental human rights are well respected.
You speak about fundamental human rights, which quickly brings to mind the conversation on LGBTQI. What is the stance of the LPG on LGBTQI?
LGBTQI, what stance are you talking about?
What is the position? What is the position of the LPG on
promoting LGBT or why? I don't.
I'm merely asking for your stance. What is the position of the LPG. I mean, you're hoping someday to be president. And I'm asking you, what is your position? Former President Atta Mills, today, by the way, happens to be his birthday.
Okay. Happy birthday to him.
I mean, may he rest in peace.
Exactly.
Was asked the question. He had a stance. Former President Mahama was asked the question. He had a stance. The current president, Nana Addo, was asked the question. He had a stance. What is your stance? I'm sure if Ghanaians are considering you, they would also wonder, okay, so what's your position?
No, I don't understand that question. But if from what I can say is that I don't know if people...
Is it that you don't understand, or is it that you don't want to? You're afraid to answer the question?
No. I'm not afraid. I'm one person that's not shy. You know, let me tell you something. Is anybody looking to get married in that format here? Is anybody looking to do that? Can you tell me one person who has come out, or a group of people who have come out and say they want to do practice?
Actually, there are.
They are practicing it.
Not practicing it, but there are people who say we should have those rights. There are people, you mentioned human rights. Some of them couch them as human rights. There are those who have advocated that we should allow these people to be in Ghana. And I'm merely asking what your position is.
Will you kill somebody? Will you kill somebody because the person is a gay or is a lesbian? You can't kill the person because he's a gay or is a lesbian. Or are you making laws to send those who are gay to prisons or lesbians to prison? Are you making laws like that?
If you followed the anti-gay bill, as we call it for short, in Parliament, you would realize that, well, far away from what Uganda has done, theirs is a bit extreme, but this new bill, actually not a new bill, if passed into law, would also enhance what the law says about unnatural carnal knowledge and include certain other bits, on the LGBTQI plus terrain, which would prevent such people from... You wouldn't even be able to openly talk about some of these matters in the sense of promoting it. So I'm sure you're aware of all of that.
But you see, the bill is a non-starter.
It's a non-starter. Why?
Because the bill alone itself is promoting the LGBTQ plus. This bill, that's the purpose of the bill. The bill is to...
While the sponsors are saying that they are trying to stem the tide because our constitution, the 1992 constitution, is not clear enough. Our criminal code is not clear enough on the delineation and the activities of LGBT.
To me, I think the bill is rather promoting the LGBTQ.
I see.
Yes, because looking at how long we've been talking about this, how many years we've been talking about this, okay? Every day we are getting people, we are creating that awareness for people to know what is LGBT. They start asking questions, okay? If somebody build a signboard somewhere, me, myself, I didn't see that signboard. And there's somebody who is saying that is coming out with a bill to fight against LGBTQ, will go and take a picture of the signboard.
I know what you're referencing.
Yes, and put it on the internet. What is he doing? He's rather promoting it.
So you're saying Sam George and Roxanne Nelson, Dapia Mekpo and everything else, those who are sponsoring this bill, those who have pushed it, are merely wasting their time, and that this is an enterprise
because the energy that they are using to promote it is too much. They're promoting it. Because people didn't even know the colors of the LGBTQ. They made us aware. We didn't know. I believe you yourself didn't know the colors of the LGBTQ. But because of this bill, you got to know. So who is promoting what? They are rather promoting it. And now they said even the bill, if they find you doing this kind of stuff, they will put you into jail. Is that correct? They will jail you. So if you are not building...
That is not black and white.
Oh, it's black and white.
But I am saying...
you go to jail. That's the end result.
There will be penalties for certain offenses. Yes.
So the end result...
As though once you did something, you would end up in
jail. No, the end result is jail. The end result is jail. So you jail the person. So you jail the person, and the person goes to jail. You add him, if it's a male, a man, you add him to the male cells. If it's a woman, you add her to the female cells. So what are you promoting? You are rather going to intensify the activities there. Okay? So to me, I don't see any sense in this. Okay? And if you want to fight this, you think that is spreading and you want to fight it, you have to sit down and find out the root cause. What are some of the root causes? The boarding system, the prison system. So why don't you look at that and see if you can minimize those who are going to jail, if you can give them some hard labor thing outside, or close down all boarding schools so that nobody goes there to learn all these activities.
You are suggesting, Kofi Akpaloo, that in dealing with the situation, we should rather shut down the boarding system.
Yes, because
is that what you're suggesting as the solution?
Yes, that's one of the solutions. Because you see the genesis, you need to fight it from the genesis. Where are people getting this? Where are they getting it? Where?
Some people will tell you they were born like this.
Fantastic.
I have interviewed someone who was born a man. Of course, he transitioned, so to speak.
Yeah.
He was born Maxwell, I think.
Yeah.
And later transitioned to Angel Maxine.
Yeah.
You know, and he says right from the bad as a child, he felt a bit different.
Yeah.
Okay. This may not have anything to do with, yes, he ended up, or she ended up in a boarding facility at a point, but this had happened long before. For such people who will tell you that I always had these tendencies and all of that, it wouldn't be on the back of a boarding system. It wouldn't be on the back of having been incarcerated or something of the sort. So would that be any real solution, targeting boarding system?
Oh yes, it will reduce it. I'm saying that's one of the solutions. It will reduce it because people get into the act when they go to boarding schools. So if you want to fight it, then reduce the boarding system. It will reduce new entrants, okay, into the activities. And then you have to also find jobs for the numerous young men and women out there who are not working and who can be lured into this act by somebody sponsoring the person. So find jobs for the people. Create jobs.
We'll get to the economy shortly and the bit about jobs and what the LPG can do. But also because you've spoken about our prison system. And of course, it's quite a situation there on what the prisoners have to survive on,
exactly.
The numbers in there. But what do you make of the death penalty? It's come to the fore recently. We'll just quickly deal with that and go to the economy. Francis Xavier Sosu is pushing in Parliament for those bills to see the light of day so that we'll just scrap the death penalty. In fact, since 1992, all of those that we've sentenced to death, no one has been executed.
Exactly.
That's the point. Amnesty International is saying it's high time we got past it. But there are the likes of Cletus Avoka who say, wait, what are you saying? I mean, and he painted a picture in Parliament. Someone comes to my house, robs me, maybe rapes my wife and all of that, kills me, and you feel that person has a right to life when I have lost my life? What is the position of the LPG? What is your position?
Actually, we don't believe in those things, like taking somebody's life. Why should you kill somebody? Why should you kill somebody? You know, and people can change. People can change. So
and there are those who also do not change.
Yes, that's human. That's human. You see, everybody is different. So people can change. So we have to give people a chance to change. And you know, sometimes somebody maybe they will suspect the person as a thief or as a whatever, and then they will lynch the person to death. Mob action and all those kind of stuff. All these things, we need to condemn them.
But you know, we need deterrence in society. One of the functions of penalization is to deter. So you see that Asamesi went and stole something, and this was the consequence of that action. You also don't go and do it because if you know that if you do it and you get caught, it is the same consequence you will face. One of the merits of the law or its use is to deter people from doing the things that society agrees we do not want to see. And you say, what exactly?
You see, sometimes you can be wrongly accused, and we have experienced it in many times.
Is that not a drop in the bucket globally?
Yes, though it's insignificant, but still, if those people were given opportunity to live, maybe it will help their families and relatives and the rest. So I would suggest that we should support what my brother Sosu is fight.
So you are for Francis Xavier?
Oh yes, because we don't need to kill people. Why should you kill somebody? I don't believe in that. Let's find solutions to those problems.
Let's look at the economy, and I just want us to wade into the economy and look at some party political issues, and then we'll take it from there. The economy is in a very tight space.
Exactly.
We've got the IMF, on board, but we're struggling.
Exactly.
It is clear.
Yeah.
What would the LPG do differently in terms of managing our economy?
We need to look at creating wealth.
How do you do that?
We need to look at the young people. Most of our young people around. We need to help them to come out with realizing their visions. Because when you go into the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28, it says, in the latter days, the young people will have visions, and then the old men will have dreams. So if the young people are going to have visions, then which means we need to be serious with the young people, identify them, support them, no matter which party they belong to. So far as they are Ghanaians and they have fantastic business ideas, we should support them to realize it.
Okay, so I'm looking. I don't want you to re-echo or be an echo chamber for the problems. What are the solutions?
No. The solution.
How will you support them?
Yeah, the solution is that you need to find money to support their businesses.
How will you find that money?
Yeah, I'll come there. Just a minute. If you go into the global space, you see that those who have transformed this society, they all started when they were young people. If you take a person like Bill Gates, 13 years when he started learning programming on his own, and then 19, he formed Microsoft. This one is Dell, yeah? This computer is Dell.
It's an HP brand.
Okay. You know Dell Computing? Started by Michael Dell when he was at school. iPhone, Apple, started by
Steve Jobs and his cohorts.
Yes, Wozniak. You know, Woz was 24 years. Steve Jobs was 21 years.
So the youthful human capital.
Exactly. We are neglecting them. We are not supporting them. We think they are young people, they don't have anything. Until we have that realization that the young people carry vision. So we need to identify them and invest in them so that they can change the narrative. You have both sides. And then use the both side to go and secure a loan of $2 billion, okay? Now, but what would the $2 billion do for you? Instead, you could afford borrow money to invest in what? Refining the bauxite and turning the bauxite into alumina. Already you have vacuum. So you feed vacuum with the alumina to turn it into aluminium. And then you build extrusion plant to start producing profiles. Now we have assembly plants coming here. They need engine blocks, they need pistons, they need car parts and the rest. So the extrusion plant can produce all of them. Even Boeing can buy most of their parts from here. Now, all the natural resources that we have, until we go into adding value, we are going nowhere.
But value addition is not as simple as you make it. Recently, there's a private enterprise that has created a refinery somewhere in Tema. We look at our own Tor, the Tema oil refinery, and the woes it has faced. Even look at our gold. In terms of processing the gold, we do a lot of the processing, globally, not just Ghana. In Switzerland, can you imagine that? So, what exactly is going to be different? How these things you are talking about? The NPP and the NDC have told us the same things before.
No, see, because they don't have how to do it.
And you do?
Yes, because let me tell you something. Now you are selling Tema oil refinery. Government doesn't need to own Tema oil refinery. We need to give Tema oil refinery to the private sector. But it shouldn't go to a foreign company. It should rather go to a Ghanaian company. Invite Ghanaians. Let them put a bid.
Would you be willing to invest in a Tema oil refinery?
Yes, why not? I believe you too. So why don't we float shares? We become private entity, give it to Ghanaians all over, buy shares into that company. We can raise the needed capital to expand the activities of Tema Oil Refinery. You don't need to bring any foreign investors to come and own, because everything is in the hands of the foreign investors. They will take everything away. And our leaders are so happy to give everything out to foreign direct investors. I'm not against foreign direct investors, but what are we doing? We are not creating capital here. Look at the tax rate. If your tax rate is our 50-something%, how do you create capital? The taxes are too much. So we cannot do anything ourselves. If we go to even Tema here, most of the big companies there are owned by foreigners. Everything is owned by foreigners.
That is a problem that we have in this country.
Yes,
but
because we are not creating capital. You see, our problem is that we are not creating capital. We are not teaching our kids from school savings and investment culture. If you don't save and invest, you can never be rich. If you want to be rich, you need to know how to save and invest. So it should be a public thing that we should teach our kids from infancy to understand that every little amount that they have, they should be able to leave some to save and then invest later. So
how do we very quickly, so we wrap on the economy, how do we prevent Ghana ourselves from going back to the IMF?
The
17 times.
Yeah, the solution is that we have to create capital. That's the only solution. Create capital.
How about
invest.
industrialization? You've spoken about the aluminium bit, but for example, we have lithium now. We may not have started exploiting it, but if you were in power and we had lithium to exploit, I mean, batteries for vehicles like you've mentioned, for our phones and the rest, what would be your thinking on the use of lithium?
Yeah, the use will be simple. Invite Ghanaians all over the world. Sell the idea to them. Ask them, put your resources together to raise the necessary capital and venture into it. So you form a company, you invite Ghanaians to buy shares in that company, and then they will invest.
So you have a very business-focused approach.
Yes, because that's the way to make money for your people. Because other than that, you invite foreign direct investors, they will take everything away. And you will get only 5%, and you think that's enough. No, we need to allow people, Ghanaians abroad, they are over 10 million. Ghanaians here, even if you ask 1 million Ghanaians to bring $1,000 together each, it's $1 billion. If you get 1 million Ghanaians to invest $1,000 each, it's $1 billion.
So $1,000 now is around 12,000 cedis. How many Ghanaians can freely give that out?
There are some Ghanaians who can invest $1 million. There are Ghanaians who can.
There are definitely
fantastic. So when I'm just using like per item, that's per stock, $1,000. You see how many people who can. So if you're able to sell the idea to them, for them to understand the benefits associated with that investment.
So are you suggesting our leaders are not thinking well enough?
I won't use that word, but maybe they've not taken a proper look at that, because that's the way forward. Other than that, we always fall on the foreigners for them to invest, because the airlines are owned by the foreigners. The telecommunication owned by the foreigners. Everything is owned by the foreigners. So how do we create wealth? And then your emphasis is only on the taxes. So that's why every day they come out with a new tax.
So come July the 25th, when the mid-year budget is read, you don't want to hear of any more taxes?
No. I want to see the government reducing taxes. If the government is serious and you want to create wealth, this government is serious, you want to make more money, you should encourage the businesses to employ.
What do you think about the e-levy, COVID-19 levy?
COVID-19
levy.
I think they should abolish all those things. Yeah.
And the e-levy?
The e-levy, I would suggest maybe they will make it like a fixed 10, like maybe 10 cedis for 1,000 cedis, up to 5,000 cedis, you pay 10 cedis, something of that sort. But the 1% on everything, to me, is too much.
All right, the percentages. Before I take your very final comments, just the IGP and the leaked tape. You know now, Bugri Nabu has confirmed that there was this meeting in his house, and some things actually were said. What do you make of that situation? And what do you think about the Asin North Member of Parliament situation, James Jachikwason? Very quick thoughts on those.
Oh, okay. On now the leak tape.
Yeah.
To me, I don't see any serious. Why we should
Someone who is a COP supposedly is hatching a plot to remove the IGP on political grounds because he's acting in a way that will be inimical to the MPP's fortunes.
To me,
you don't see any problem with that?
No, none of them has any power to remove the IGP.
So when you meet a coup plotter, you want to wait till the person does something before you realize it can be dangerous.
No, but what about if you don't know the person is planning?
But now we know.
So what can you do? You can't do anything. I mean, if you look at Bugri Nabu, and then the other man.
There's a COP supposedly involved there.
They can't
Party people.
They can't do anything. No.
So we should take it for granted.
It's like somebody sitting at the Apoteshi bar and be talking that kind of stuff. They can't do anything. You don't need to waste energy. Because I think I read it that they gone in for the receptionist and then the PA of Bugri Nabu.
Right.
And I look at it, it's a waste of time. Maybe we call the BNI or the NIB. Maybe they don't have anything to do, so that's why they are trying to use it.
You think the NIB has nothing to do, and that's why they are following up
It's a fruitless exercise. It won't go anywhere.
Jachikwason?
Jachikwason going to court.
He's been re-elected, and now the court processes and the minority saying every time he's in court will also go.
Yes, congratulations to him for winning the Asin of election. But the thing is that the law must work. Yeah, because he lied under oath. If you do, you have to face the law. So I don't think there's anything wrong.
As of the point when he was filing his papers, he had contested and all of that. He had done everything to ensure that he qualified to actually participate.
At the time, he was filling the form. He hasn't. So he became only so Ghanaian without any allegiance whatsoever. That was somewhere in
But the hitches in the process do not affect him in terms of his
No.
application.
The application.
He had followed the processes.
No. When you are filling the form, there's a section that will ask you whether you are a civil servant, whether you are a Ghanaian by birth, whether you are 21 years and over. So you have to say yes or no. And then he said yes. And then he lied. So if you have lied, then you have to face the consequences. I mean, I don't think we should encourage wrongdoing in this country. Even if somebody has done something wrong, the person must face the consequences. We shouldn't say because he's a politician. That is why we are here. In this country, we are not growing. We need to grow. All
right. Yeah. So maybe in some 20 seconds, final words.
My final words, they should support LPG, everybody, including you. You should support me so that if you add your brains to ours, we can turn Ghana around, can make Ghana a better place. Because Ghana is a beautiful place, it has a lot of opportunities. But we are giving opportunities to foreigners, and our people are suffering. We need to create jobs for our young men and women. We need to give them the opportunity to realize their dreams here. And I believe LPG 2024 will be a different ballgame because we are coming like a kite and want everybody out there, especially the young people, to support us to take this MPP and NDC out of the system.
Well, Kofi Akpaloo is flag bearer of the Liberal Party of Ghana. He joined us this morning for a conversation. From time to time, we have the other stalwarts, the other parties also coming, the CPP, PNC, among others, to find out what they are offering. And as you have seen, we've hosted the LPG today. It is up to you to decide whether or not you will buy into what he is proffering. But Kofi, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, bro. God bless you.
All right. Moving on from here, we'll be having more conversations and we'll be looking at the NPP's flag bearership race or flag bearer race. Now, it is heating up and there are certain dynamics that we got to know of only yesterday from the administrative end of the party. We'll be bringing you details of that. We also have a conversation on COVID-19. Now, the Ghana Health Service says a major part of the population is yet to fully vaccinate against the virus. On the back of that, it has stepped up its game in terms of getting all of us fully vaccinated. I have had all shots had booster shots. But how about you? This morning, we're hosting Dr. Kwame Achiano. He's Programs Manager, Expanded Program on Immunization at the Ghana Health Service. That conversation is up next on the AM Show. Do stay.
Hello, thank you so much for staying here on the AM show. And you just heard my colleague Benjamin Akapo speak to presidential hopeful Mr. Akpaloo. But it's now time to talk about your health. And for the past few days, we've been talking to you about a vaccination program by the Ghana Health Service, because COVID still remains a threat, even though it's no longer a pandemic. And even though we've seen a decrease in the number of cases, there's still a concern, especially because a recent WHO report showed that even though there was a decrease in reported cases in Africa, there was an increase in the number of deaths. So it's important that we stay safe, we keep to the protocols, and get our vaccinations. This morning, I've been joined by Dr. Kwame Achiano. He's Programs Manager, Expanded Program on Immunization at the Ghana Health Service. And he's joining us for a conversation because there is a campaign by the Ghana Health Service to ensure that at least they're able to get most of us in Ghana vaccinated. Hello. Good morning to you,
Good
Doc.
morning,
It's
Benny.
good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
In person, finally.
Sure.
Briefly tell us what the situation is like when it comes to our figures now and COVID.
Thank you very much, and good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners alike. So, if I have to say anything in one sentence, I would say that number of cases of COVID have been reducing. So we've been seeing decreasing number of cases. However, the pandemic is not yet over. For us in Ghana, I would say that our caseload is very low.
Mm-hmm.
We have only one active case.
Okay, as we speak.
Yes, as we speak now. And generally for all the other regions, apart from Greater Accra, there's virtually no case.
Right. So then why is it important for us to get vaccinated? Because then, I mean, we are okay. Why do you still want to get us vaccinated?
Yeah, but we've been here before, you remember? Right. When there was no case or very few cases, and then suddenly we had a spike.
Yeah.
But suffice to say that on the 5th of May, the WHO de-escalated COVID as no longer a public health emergency of international concern. Unfortunately, people misconstrue that as the end of the pandemic.
Okay.
That is not the case.
Okay.
The case is that we are moving from the emergency phase to a more relaxed, as it were, integrated manner, where COVID is part of us and we need to deal with it as such. So it's not as if the pandemic is over, it's not yet over. It is the emergency phase of it. Of course, we can't remain perpetually in emergency, we need to live our lives.
Yeah.
And so once immunity is going up, people have been vaccinated, some have had infections. You know, there are two ways of getting immunity. You either get infection or you get vaccinated. If you are not lucky, you get infection, you die.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what we are trying to prevent.
Exactly.
Okay.
A lot of people have had immunity go up, and therefore would say that the cases are reducing as a result. But that is not the end of the pandemic.
I made reference to a recent WHO report. Even though we don't have specific statistics about Ghana, our region, which is Africa, is, cited in the report for having a decrease in the number of cases, but an increase in deaths. Do we understand why that is happening at all?
Well, I don't have any major understanding of that.
Right.
It's nobody has done any studies to suggest any clue to anything.
Right.
But the point is that this virus is very, very treacherous. It can easily change its form, what the scientists will call mutation. So you can never predict it. And therefore, we need to gird our loins and make sure that we are protected and we are not taken by storm.
Yeah, that was one of the things about the COVID virus that, got a lot of people disturbed because of the mutations, the variants, and there were even concerns when vaccines were produced whether they could deal with all the emergent variants and all that. Yeah. These vaccines we're going to get. I know we have used the Johnson & Johnson, we have used the Pfizer. And did we ever use Moderna?
Yes, we did.
We did use Moderna.
We even used Sputnik V.
Sputnik V, yes, you're right.
And AstraZeneca.
And AstraZeneca. So this vaccination exercise we're embarking on, what would it look like, especially for those who are yet to receive their booster shots? Do they need to be concerned about whether they're going to get the same dose of the same type of vaccine, or we can do a mix and merge? I just want us to educate people on what they should expect when they walk to a center to get vaccinated, or when a health official approaches them to get vaccinated.
So, responding to your question specifically, for boosters, we do not mind whichever vaccine you take.
Okay.
By our policy, for a booster, you can take any of the vaccines, irrespective of what you took for your, what we call the primary series. In other words, the very first doses you took.
Right.
Yeah. So for boosters, there's no problem. What we have, in fact, there's no new vaccine. It is what we had already. For now, what we have in the system is Johnson & Johnson, which is one shot. And that is what we are using.
Okay.
It is for persons 18 years and above. You will recall that for us, the policy is 15-year-olds and above being vaccinated. However, we don't have the vaccine for them now. We are still working to get additional vaccines. So what we have is what we have had previously, and it's the same vaccine we are using.
I remember the point there was a lot of apathy and hesitation. People were skeptical because there were all these myths around about it being a certain way of controlling humans. Eventually, there's some chips in there. People even put their phones to the site where they were injected, and they say the phones got stuck. There was something magnetic, and so people were like, "Look, I mean, we don't want to be a part of this new world order, which is trying to influence and all the theories,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, of course.
And usher in the post-rapture world and
everything religious,
yes,
whatever,
right?
The misinformation, disinformation, but the case speaks for itself.
Right. So I can imagine how challenging it will be for you now that the figures are pointing to a reduction, and trying to convince people that it's still important that you get the shot. We had a target. Do we know how far we've gone in reaching? Was it 20 million?
Yes.
How?
Actually, specifically around 18 point something, but it was rounded up to
20 million.
Yeah.
So what percentage of that target have we vaccinated or covered?
Interestingly, we've done about 76% of that target, yes.
That's impressive.
You have almost 14 million persons ever coming for a vaccine. 14 million, that's a whopping large number. Among them, about 11 million are fully vaccinated. In quotes, they've received the primary series. So we still have around 3 million persons who are yet to
get an initial dose. To complete, okay.
Yes, and then if you subtract the 14 from the 18 plus, you have over 4 million who have never received a vaccine. And so that's the statistics. We've done a lot, but we still need to push hard. But the issue about vaccine is that you normally give a vaccine when the disease is not there.
It's better that way.
Yes, because that's the nature of a vaccine is preventive.
Okay.
And so it's when you don't see the disease, that is when you need to actually give vaccination.
Right.
If you look for the kids, for example, yellow fever, measles, BCG, you don't see them because we continuously give them vaccine.
Right.
Anytime you withdraw the vaccines, the diseases will come back. And so a vaccine is not curative. And that is why when I get a question, you don't see the disease, why are you vaccinated? That's the essence of it. The vaccine is preventive.
Right. But have we achieved herd immunity? Are we close to that?
Not yet. In fact, nobody really knows the threshold for health, for herd immunity or community immunity, as we call it. But the principle is to get as many persons who are eligible as possible to get vaccinated. And the more you do that, the better it is for the rest who, for one reason or the other, may not be vaccinated. So either because of some circumstances or the other one issue or the other, they may not be able to vaccinate. And so that is the reason you don't need to get 100% coverage.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is happening from the 19th to the 23rd of July. Right.
We started 2 days ago.
You started 2 days ago.
So we are completing this exercise on Sunday. But that's just a period set aside to drum home, to make a bit of noise, mobilize society. Beyond that, we'll still vaccinate.
So it doesn't end. That's what I wanted to come to. So this is just a campaign, right? So we're just trying to mop up and mobilize as many people. And, you know, because we are quite a busy people, sometimes people like you to bring it to them. And so these are some of the exercises that you have to embark on.
Look, this is the 7th one we are doing.
Yes.
And any time we do that, people take, in fact, there's a spike always. And the data speaks for itself.
Okay. So 23rd of July is Sunday.
Yes.
Where can people go to? What should they look out for?
So our healthcare workers will be moving to churches and mosques, places where you can find human beings, as it were, market areas, lorry parks. Some will go over banks and sleep on the islands and all the places that we normally do childhood vaccination. This is adult, so we are just replicating that for the adults. But again, beyond that, the whole world is trying to make COVID vaccines part of routine. So that's the next stage, because now it's de-escalated and it's no longer a public health emergency of international concern. It's going to be part of the routine, so that routinely when adults who are at risk, there are 3 risk groups. You have the high risk, the medium, the low. They can walk in anytime and take their vaccine.
How many booster shots can one take?
Well, for now, I would say that if we go by the risk groups, then we would think that if you are high risk, like healthcare workers, persons with underlying conditions who are also old, and especially the older adults, they will need a booster after about every 6 months to one year.
So in other words, you are prepping us to
1 or 2.
Take this as a lifestyle, really?
Not necessarily. Maybe up to about 2 years, 2025, we may have to give boosters to especially those who are most at risk.
Right. I see the challenge for many people is that we are not used in this part of the world to older people taking vaccinations on the regular. In other parts of the world, when the flu season is coming, people go for their flu shots and all that. But here, it's not like that. We see the children getting their vaccinations. So I think that's where the struggle is.
Yeah, so it's going to be like the flu shot, but not perpetually as is happening in the temperate areas. For this, it's maybe a year or 2.
We're still learning a lot about the virus, interestingly. Are there new variants emerging?
Well, new variants keep on coming up, but these are not variants that are too different from the original, the Omicron variant.
Right. So this morning, I'm speaking to Dr. Amponsa Achianu, Programs Manager at the Expanded Program on Immunization for the Ghana Health Service. And he's here to talk to us about their national COVID vaccination program, and it is the 7th one, and it's all because yes, the numbers are reducing. Yes, the WHO has de-escalated, or how do you put it?
Declassified
the whole disease as an emergency, and so it still exists. You need to protect yourself, especially if you fall within a vulnerable group. It's just important that you take responsibility for yourself. So how do people contact you? I know that you're all around the country, but if somebody says, for example, I have an office, you haven't visited us, I think you should come in and try and take care of everybody here. Are there opportunities like that for people to contact the Ghana Health Service?
Sure, there are surely opportunities like that. Of course, you don't expect people to be moving from house to house, vaccinating individuals, as it were, because it's a very difficult task when it comes to injectable vaccines. If it's oral, it's easy.
Yeah.
But for an injectable, you need a nice place, maybe under a shade, where you can put all one or two things together, and then also dispose your waste properly. If you are moving from house to house, I know some healthcare workers have tried to do that, but it's exceedingly difficult. And so if it's a workplace, that is easier, where you have people
large groupings.
Correct.
Yeah.
That can be arranged.
That can
and in fact, that is what many of the districts have been doing. They arrange with the people and then move as and when it is necessary.
Doc, let's talk about side effects, because it's something that interests people a lot. We've read articles, we've seen concerns about blood clotting issues. And I know that for healthcare workers, you're always careful when it comes to issues like this. But we can't deny the fact that there are reported cases of suspected, issues as a result of people taking the jabs and all. How do you address that? What should people do? Is it true that if I get a COVID vaccine and I begin to feel sick, it's probably because I may have a certain disease that's lurking, that hasn't, gone full-blown, and the vaccine is not necessarily causing me to be sick, but it's just exposing that? I mean, just help us address, because there's so many things that we hear.
Yeah. So yes, the issue of adverse events is very tricky. Of course, we communicate that a lot. The one thing about vaccines is that you get a vaccine, or anybody gets a vaccine, anything happens after that, and it's the vaccine. And in fact, almost invariably, that is not the case. However, we know that vaccines themselves have inherent properties that can also cause side effects, like fever, maybe vomiting, and so on. So we have some side effects that are due to the vaccine, others are just coincidental.
So what do we do? I mean, it's one of the reasons people say that they don't want to go for the vaccine, because they don't want to be left with the side effects. So what has the study shown over the time? Are these side effects mild or,
Yeah, for every vaccine. In fact, the COVID vaccine side effects have not been too different from the side effects of other vaccines we know. Otherwise, we would have stopped them long time ago, because it's always risks against benefits, or benefits risks. So normally for vaccine, if the benefits far outweigh the risk, then of course you manage the risks. If the risks are over and above that of the benefit, of course the vaccine is then withdrawn.
But what is the data?
For us, the data shows that there's no cause for concern in terms of the COVID vaccines as of now. And interestingly, COVID vaccine is the most vaccine, I would say the vaccine that has been given most in the whole world. Over 13 billion doses given, over 5 billion persons have been vaccinated. Which experiment is more than this? So if there's really a problem, I'm sure the whole world would have seen it, and then the vaccines would have been withdrawn. But as of now, working with international community, working with our local community, and of course the regulators, we haven't seen anything extraordinary.
The issue about people who have gotten initial doses and coming for booster jabs and all the concerns around that, that's why you created the card, because it has all the records in there. But we know the kind of society we live in. People have been affected by floods. People have, been robbed. They can't find their cards. I know somebody who went and said, look, I've taken jabs already. I can't remember which brand it was, but I want to retrieve the data. And they're told, we can't. We can help you. He went to the center, type in my name, try and get me just the data, so that, because I've moved from Kumasi to Accra. So I just need to do my booster jabs, and I need that to help me. But the cards don't seem to be working as we expect.
We have levels of, levels where you can do that. You can lodge a complaint.
Okay.
First of all, if your card gets missing, you see, the card replacement of the card is not as simple as that. It's like you replace a passport, and you say, give me another one. It's not, you need to have a proof that your card is truly missing.
Okay.
And so what we advise people to do, if you are burgled, for example, report to the police, let the police give you a report. And then you send it to either the district. If the district cannot help you, they direct you to the region. At West, then you come to the national. And we've been helping people, especially travelers, on that.
You're able to help
yes,
them?
Yes, we are able to do that.
Okay. So you've just heard it here. If you're struggling, if you have issues, just reach out to the Ghana Health Service at your district level, and then they can escalate it if they cannot help you. But talking about the cards, we still don't need them to travel, do we?
For now, for Ghana, probably not. But if you are going out, you need to find out from your destination country.
Right.
Because I was in Togo last week, and I tell you, there's a rigor. You need to produce your card.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So eventually, maybe countries may also de-escalate that. But for now, you need to keep your card.
All right. So please keep your card. And I know somebody who was compelled to get a dose because they had to travel. Not necessarily because they wanted to get it, but, you know, they have to satisfy the requirements of the country they are visiting.
Maybe we can interrogate that. So which was more important to that person? Is it the travel or the vaccine? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting?
And Doc, once you're bringing that, let's just let people know there are required times between the shots.
Yep.
So I know of people who've literally had to beg because their travel time is close, and the health official says, I can't give you the dose today and give you the second dose in 2 or 3 weeks. I need to wait for the required time.
Okay.
But the people are bent on traveling at the time they have to.
They insist on that.
And they insist on that, and it's usually a struggle
Let me explain. Maybe we need to re-educate our people. You see, giving vaccines at short intervals do not really cause any problem.
Okay.
The issue is the benefit. You may not benefit. So one of the doses will be counted as null and void. That's the only issue. But if the person insists, if he's an adult and he insists, you can give it. There's no problem.
Right. There's no problem?
No.
If I take a first
But the
shot?
minimum interval, usually for many of the vaccines, is 4 weeks. But there are also some vaccines we give at 3 weeks interval.
Okay.
So it's not an issue.
Okay. Right. Or maybe just to save yourself all the hassle, just get your shots, be relaxed, get your card whenever you have to travel. You just.
Yeah, but I understand that sometimes, you know, it's an unexpected thing.
Yes.
So if you come today and you come the following, let's say, 3 weeks after, for many of the vaccines we can give. Moderna, for example, 21 days can give. We have tried to standardize a lot of the things so that you take them at maybe a minimum of 4 weeks interval. There are some that you need a minimum of, say, 8 weeks interval. But, you know, because it will bring a lot of confusion, we try to standardize, looking at the benefits and the risks. And that is why some of these issues, especially, I'm talking specifically with COVID, that's why some of these issues around confusion come.
Let's take some of the boxes. Can pregnant women take the vaccine?
They can.
But
they have their vaccine.
Okay. So you need to declare if you're pregnant and it's not visible.
Yes. In fact, they are part of I'll say the medium risk now, as the new guidelines suggest. They are part of the medium risk.
Okay.
And more so, infants, that is, infants below 6 months are more at risk than even children 6 months to 17.
But we don't have vaccines for them yet.
No, we do, but we in Ghana do not give it based on our data. We don't give it to persons below 15.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But many countries do as low as 6 months, especially the US.
All right.
But the point is, pregnant women can take the vaccine, but not what we have now.
Okay.
You remember I said they have their vaccine.
Yes. So in Ghana we are not giving pregnant.
Now what we are doing now.
Okay.
But we've given pregnant women before.
Okay.
Yeah. In the past, I think since January.
Okay.
When we started it should be January last year. That's when the policy was revised to cover pregnant women.
Okay.
And the vaccine we reserved for them was Pfizer and Moderna.
Okay, but we don't have that currently in the system.
No.
Okay. So, well, if you're pregnant, you just may have to declare to the health.
You have to.
Yes, I mean, it's important. Yeah. You may not be asked. Ideally, you should be. If someone is going to get a vaccine, you should ask these questions.
Oh, yes,
as a healthcare
of course. It's very important to inquire about illness and whether the person is pregnant and so on. You need to, there are a few questions they ask.
Okay, so it's important just in case your healthcare provider or the nurse forgets to ask you, this is information that you must be willing to share. So, Doc, we're quickly wrapping up this conversation. Just to summarize all that we've said, even though the WHO says that we no longer have an emergency pandemic of COVID, it's recommending that we extend or try and cover a larger section of our population when it comes to vaccination, and you've explained why. So in just a minute, I'd like you to rehash those points just in case someone is joining us after you made those statements.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's just explain why this is important for the WHO and the Ghana Health Service.
Thank you, Bennett. So what we have said is that on the 5th of May, WHO announced that COVID-19 is no longer a public health emergency of international concern. That does not mean that the pandemic is over, and that we are gradually moving from an emergency, or we've moved from an emergency and gradually heading towards what we call the integration. And therefore, we have risk groups, high risk, medium, and low. So our premium now will be on the high and the medium risk persons who would have to take the vaccine at scheduled times. And especially for the high risk groups, healthcare workers, the old adults and adults with underlying conditions like diabetes, hypertension, and so on, we need to give them boosters, even if they have completed, as long as they've completed their primary series. And the boosters, the guidelines suggest that we give them 6 months to 12 months interval for the next couple of years. So the summary is that COVID is going down in terms of number of cases, but the disease is not yet gone. And we need to have protect ourselves, especially the vulnerable, the most vulnerable.
Right. I appreciate your time here this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
And that's Dr. Amponsa Chiano, Programs Manager, Expanded Program on Immunization at the Ghana Health Service. And so, just like we say, so if we want to deal with COVID, let's deal with it once and for all, and not be relaxed because we think that we have overcome. That's the right thing. Thanks for correcting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc. Well, we'll be bringing you more here on the AM show. When we come back, I'll be joined by Mufasa. He's a finalist of Joy Prime's maiden edition of Cues and Lyrics, a musical reality show. You want to stay and listen. Mufasa is his name, and Cues and Lyrics is the show. This morning I've been joined by this young gentleman who's looking very colorful and radiant this morning. He's a finalist of Joy Prime's maiden edition of Cues and Lyrics, a musical show which brings together young people from all over the world and gives them the opportunity, no, did I say the world? All over Ghana for now, maybe the world in the future as I'm projecting. And they're just given the opportunity to shine, to, explore the world of music and learn a lot as well. Yesterday I hosted 2 of them, and today Mufasa is here with me. It's saying, hey, I'm good. Now, Mufasa is an old boy of Pope John's Senior High School, and I'm told that you were very famous in your days, eh? Yeah. Okay, well, you used to dance. Sure. Were you an entertainment prefect?
No, I was a day student, so I couldn't be a prefect. Yeah.
All right, but you were well known, and you are still well known.
Yeah, you're very well known.
All right, but tell me what it has been like for you on Cues and Lyrics.
Okay, so let me share this experience with you. Cues and Lyrics for me has been an academic exercise where I had this raw talent of making music, showing up on stage at karaoke grounds to perform and stuff like that. Now, from the audition to the proper solo performances on the competition has been an exercise where the judges have refined what I used to do in that raw state. And so now I've been able to gain command over exactly the genre that I'm actually professing, the hip-like genre, where you do a little rap, you do a little singing there, do some ad-libs and all that kind of thing, yeah.
Nice. Okay. So, what song did you do for your audition?
Okay, for the audition, I was rapping my own original, songs.
Okay.
There was one point where I did a Sarkodie rap.
Okay, can we hear?
Okay. You want to hear it?
Yeah, I do.
It goes like this. I'm pushing myself to the pinnacle. I diamo ye physical. My too many are Ghana rappers, I'm sorry, but kakribi pen a lyrical. Rapper na damunko kanishi. But Mike and Bremen na vanishi. 2017 Kojuki Wakan, and maybe Kabum the Chedishi. This is the return of Idi Yami Yebecheki Ubia Uni permit. Opanabe Deseme, what do you mean? Uni Pini Kasato Sebi. Kasena Nafa Chemi. Uye Penatu Winnie Shemi. Matoto me punch na no na makanishi. One and a rapid to send me. Uswa.
Interesting. So you've made it to the final, but was there any point you thought you were going to exit the competition?
Well, the thought of exiting the competition for me wasn't necessarily about me failing with my performances, but it was just the scare with the votes. And sometimes...
But the Pope Jones boys didn't vote for
Oh, them votes were massively like...
Pope Jones for Adenamoyesa.
But you see, when the show started, then I was now campaigning to try to throw everybody in and stuff like that. But then it was along the line where the challenges of showing up in full scale, from apparel to inner feeling and resources-wise, you get it. And then gracefully, we made it through to the final.
Nice one. So there was no point you were almost evicted?
No, there was one point where I was next to the one who was evicted, and it felt very hot, but you made it. Yeah.
You made it, I like that. But you've just been telling us that it was more of a learning curve for you, where you learned a lot. What does the future look like for you? I mean, beyond cues and lyrics, because we know that there's going to be an ultimate winner who would be having an all-expenses-paid trip to Dubai, have a record deal, have some 20,000 CDs, but what do you aspire for in the future?
I want to be known in Ghana professionally as an artist, as a very popular scholarly artist who emerged into the scene and allowed the music, or let's say the entertainment industry, to cleanse itself from the misconducts or the lack of ethics that we actually suffer because we are artists. And if you do the analysis or the fact findings, you realize that most artists in the endings of their career, the kind of lifestyle that they plunge into doesn't become enticing for even our parents to even want us to sign up for that kind of a profession. So my father, for example, would say, "Wakuskwiri," and you still want to do music, But professionally, I want to be known out there to the point where I can be crowned as an ambassador of, let's say, arts and crafts. So let's say the ministry can actually employ some of us artists to go sell the name of Ghana at festivals and all that.
Yeah, I mean that's a very important point, because in other parts of the world, you see people, billionaires, who are music investors, who are musicians themselves. Talk about Jay-Z, the top of my mind. I mean, just go to Nigeria, our neighbors, and you see that people are really focused on the business of music. So the sense I get is that you want to project music as a career, as something that people can do, and they won't be questioned about what the future holds for them.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, that's wonderful. Interesting, Mufasa. So, I'll have you we had a rap, but I want to hear what you sound like singing. Okay. So, we can see you in the background doing a song there, but I want to hear you live, and whatever song of your choice. Just treat us.
Okay. So let me treat you to one of my own originals.
Okay.
It goes like this. Life no be easy. Well, it comes with the ups and downs. Into say, will be a money, I'm Philly B. What goes around comes around. Life no be easy. Ghana maya sitting nemo ayedim pan. Yebe ma yeni adahona ya ye bibi ne yede adane asore ne politics enkwa. Uswa. Politics enkwa. Uswa.
I want to hear that again. I know you want to hear it again. That's actually thought-provoking lyrics. So I want to hear it again.
Okay. Life no be easy. Well, it comes with the ups and downs. Into say, be a money, I'm Philly B. What goes around comes around. Life no be easy. Ghana maya sitting nemo ayedim pan. Yebe ma yeni adahona ya ye bibi no yede adane asore ne politics enkwa. Uswa. Politics enkwa. Uswa.
Oh, okay. That's a nice one. When are we hearing? When are you releasing it?
Yeah, so then after the competition,
Okay. Are you performing this on Saturday?
No. What I'm performing on Saturday is called Ajua.
That was an original?
Yeah, on original.
Okay, I wouldn't let you give too much away. You've given us Life Not Be Easy, which is thought-provoking, I must admit. So you need to join Mufasa and the rest of the squad on Saturday at 8 p.m. The program starts, but the gates open at 7. It's happening at the Silicon House Production House at Tesano. So you can, just come and root for them and listen to them. And, the thing about music for me is that music does so many things. Music is different things to different people. To somebody, it's healing. To somebody, it's liberation. To somebody, it's
therapy.
Yeah, it's therapy, and to what you just did, it's thought provoking. It releases an agenda.
Yeah.
And so music does so many things for so many people.
Provokes a conversation for us to judge.
Exactly. So you want to make time to join Mufasa and the team. Yes, and you should vote for them. Do you want to tell us how to vote for you?
I'm number 4. I'm number 4 on the list. Just dial *711 *60#. I'll take it again. *711 *60#. I'm number 4. Kwabena Mufasa. Just vote for me. Let's take this crown home. Yeah.
All right. Kwabena wants your help in getting that 20,000 cedis, a record deal, and an all expenses paid trip to Dubai to go and relax after all the hard work in it. Yeah. All right. We wish you all the best, and we wish all the squad the best. All of you part of the final list of the contestants of Cues and Lyrics. It's going to be an exciting finale. We will be letting you in as we go along. So don't forget, it's 8 p.m. Joy Prime. You can follow Joy Prime on Facebook. They will be live as well so that you can treat yourself to good music and great content and great performances. Kwabena Mufasa is his name, and he's asking for your vote to help him win. We wish you all the best once again.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll get interactive with you. Do stay. Thank you for staying here on the AM show. I'm Bernice Abubeidulansa, and before I bring in Benjamin and we get interactive with you, let me just remind you that water is life. And you don't just need to drink any kind of water. You need to drink purified water that is treated through a strict purification process, and that is Awake. There's a perfect size for all purposes, the 330 and 500 ml bottles, which are cute to fit your pockets and bags. And then you have the 750 ml for the heavy drinkers and 1.5 liters for those who always want more. Let me also just let you know that there's the 19-liter jar bottle for offices and homes. All you must do is drink Awake purified drinking water wherever you go. Choose a bottle of Awake purified drinking water and get quality hydration. Awake purified drinking water, one for life. Now remember, for every bottle you purchase, an amount is donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. This is another quality product from Kasapreco Company Limited. Please call 026-235-1251 for bulk purchase. This advert is FDA approved. It's now time to get interactive with you, and we'll be opening the phone line shortly, 0302-211-691. Call us, let us know what your thoughts are. We've discussed a lot today, and even throughout the week, there's a lot happening in the country. The alleged plan to oust the IGP, issue in Parliament regarding the SkyTrain project, the boycott of Parliament by MPs of the minority side, and all the conversations around it. Just let us know what your take is as we get interactive, Benjamin.
Well, we have our first caller on the line, but when I come back into the studio, Bernice, something that I still feel we're not paying attention to, the rains and flooding. And this morning, the rains hit again. But I'll be coming back into the studio. For now, hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Okay, so it's not so audible. Let's try one more time. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Right. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Richard. I'm calling from Kwebe.
Oh, all right. Richard from Kwebe. Is it Kwebe you said?
Yes.
How is Kwebe this morning?
Oh, it was so good.
Great. What are your thoughts for us, Richard?
I just wanted to say that the lady who was sent the show is looking very good.
I didn't quite catch that.
What I'm trying to say is that the lady who sent the show is looking very good. That's all I called to say.
Oh, okay. We thank you. We thank you for those comments. I wish she had interacted with you instead. So
Hi, Richard. Thanks for your kind words. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Richard, for calling into the program. I'm sure if Bernice were a slighter shade of, she would be blushing a bit. But am I seeing? No, I'm not seeing anything. It's just the rouge on her cheek. So I was talking about the rains, and as always, they create such a situation on our roads whenever they hit. Every time. This morning, I nearly got stuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, but it's our reality, and you always wonder. We know the problems. But sometimes you just wonder why it's taking us so long to solve the problems. Talk about the roads, for example. So some of the roads, just look at the one on the Tesano stretch up to the police training school.
As for that
at that side, the left side, when you're coming towards Circle, the left side of that 3-lane road is always filled with water. And it creates a lot of traffic. I understand that
and everyone tries to avoid it, so you see the second lane and the third.
I understand that there is an outlet, but usually it's choked. And
at the side of the road.
And that's why there are those slopes, because the understanding was that we need to create an outlet for the water into some drains, which will eventually flow into bigger drains and end where it's supposed to end. But then you wonder, what is the difficulty?
But Bernice,
I don't know.
Even before you go on, we have Suleimana from the Ashanti region. Bernice?
Hi, Suleimana. Good morning to you.
Good morning, madam.
Right. How are you? What do you have to share with us? Hello, Suleimana. Please listen to me over the phone, so there's no delay in our conversation. What would you like to share with us, please?
Unfortunately, we've had to. So we're so unhappy when this happens, because we'd actually love to hear from you. But when you call and there's that delay, it just hampers the conversation. So all you have to do, a few steps. Pick up your phone, dial the number, by which time you would have turned down the volume completely on your set and listen to us on the phone. So there's no delay. That's all. That's all we need from you. 0302-211-691 is the number to call. Should time permit us, we'll also sample some of your views on social media, some of what we shared. We have Michael from Tema. Bernice.
Hello, Michael. Good morning.
Good morning, Amma. What did I? Bernice. Good morning.
Good morning, Michael.
I call you Amma, so you are surprised. Benjamin, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Let me start from home. From multimedia, specifically Joy News. This is your program. That Evans mental handle in the evening, Monday to Wednesday.
PM Express.
PM Express. Please, I know some issues are hot, so they give them 1.5 hours. Fine, that's good. Some are also hot, but they give them 5 minutes after 10 p.m. and all that, or 10 minutes after 10 p.m. But at times, they wouldn't allow everyone to finish and close the program gently, as usual. Then they just cut off the program. Please, can the producer respect us, viewers, as stakeholders? Okay?
Right.
Allow him to finish the program. Though we know over time it's not all that good, but allow him to finish the 5 minutes after 10, then, yeah.
Thank you so much. And
Can I put in my second quickly?
Quickly, please. Quickly.
Okay, that one has to do with the water region.
Okay.
naming of some of our towns and villages, they spell it wrong. Let me just use one typical example. Soga Kofe. Okay, Kofe simply means village or cottage. But we see them spelling it wrongly. The last two alphabets, they use P-E. Kope. It's Kofe. It cuts across all the water regions. Okay, so if they can do something about it, I call on Honorable Kujeto, former Minister of Education and Education Committee in Parliament, Dr. Park. They should look at this. It's getting worse. Anywhere in the water region, you see like Amekope. You say Kope.
Right. So you're talking about the road signage.
Come again?
You're talking about the road signage, and I want to understand where the mistake is. The mistakes you're.
So is it the P and the F situation you're speaking?
Yeah, the road signing, the naming of the towns and villages on the signboard officially across.
Right. So that's handled by the urban roads. All right. Okay. Feedback well noted. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Michael. And I'd like to say, on behalf of myself and my colleagues, we are deeply sorry if you feel taken for granted at any point. That's not our intention. We respect you. You are our valued and discerning audience. And so your feedback is most welcome, Michael, and we will address your concerns.
I will say the other side, that while we do this, we also stick to strict time limits, which is why a few minutes to 10, you would see us knocking off so that the next group can also come in, so that those who expect to follow on Joy News Desk will do so. But Bernice, we have another catch, so to speak. George from Labadi.
Hello, George. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What's the weather like in Labadi? Does it still look cloudy?
It is very cloudy.
Okie. Let's hear what you have to say, please.
Okay, so in the same vein, what my brother was saying earlier on that program, normally they will discuss all the problems, okay, and then they leave the last part for solutions. And solutions, they give them only about 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and then they're in a hurry to close. And I think that in Ghana, everybody knows the problem, but the solutions that we need to really find more time to discuss and share and judge on. Then they close it, I think, in the last 5 minutes, and everybody has to give their last comment and their thoughts for the last 1 minute. Well, it doesn't help.
Thank you so much for calling us, and we'll have to carry all your concerns at the feet of Evans Mensah and his team, but they definitely will hear it, trust me. We will let them know what your concerns are. But if there's any other thing you'd like to share with us, we've got time for, I think, just about a call before we wrap it up here on the AM show. Today, we've been doing quite a lot. Benjamin has been interacting with Mr. Kofi Akpaloo, who is hoping to be president of Ghana. He is running on the ticket of the LPG. Hopefully, he hopes to do that in 2024. That sounds weird.
I think we have a final caller. Maxwell is on the line.
All right. Okay, Maxwell. Hello, Maxwell. How are you?
Hi, this is a voice I want to hear. Good morning.
Good morning, Maxwell. Thank you so much. Today, you're all making me feel overwhelmed, but I feel the love, and I give it back to you in full measure. What are your thoughts, please?
The stretch from Dakuma Kokomse, former eye clinic, to Atiko Station. The place has been there since time immemorial. Nothing has been done. No, they don't come and grade it. They don't. But then, any time we vote for MPP.
Maxwell, so is that a subtle job of the party to come and look at what is happening?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
The place is very bad.
Okay.
I think you need to come and look at it.
From Darkaman Eye Clinic to Atiko Junction?
No, Atiko Station.
Atiko Station. All right. Okay. All right. Those are your concerns. And it feeds into our GH Potholes exhibition. I don't know if you've seen any of our stories focusing on bad roads in the country.
Yeah,
you can, if it's possible, you can take a photo, a video, and just use the hashtag GH Potholes exhibition or Ghana Potholes exhibition, and we'll see it, but we'll do well to visit the place and see what it looks like as well, and speak to the relevant authorities and get your concerns heard.
And then another thing too is, I've realized that cross-board, when they are doing the drainage system, they should stop this small drainage. They should do bigger ones because people are building everywhere.
Okay.
And then water is moving from one place to another place. So it changes. So when they do the drainage, it's very big. No matter what happens, you can be able to contain it.
Thank you, Maxwell. Thank you so much for calling us. And Maxwell will be our last caller. It's been an exciting interaction with you. And thank you all for calling us. We know that you listen to us, and we appreciate that all the time. Thank you so much.
Well, right before we go, some birthday messages. This one from on Facebook. You say, please help me wish my niece, and this is Adol Kluche. You say, help me wish my niece Skila Bensa of Atraco Demo a happy 10th birthday. Thank you, and have a blessed day, you say. Well, thank you too, Skila Bensa. Happy 10th birthday to you. There's also this one for Lebene. A very happy birthday to Laurentia Ametepe. God bless you for everything. We love you. God be with you and lift you higher and higher. May all your heart's desires in Christ come to pass. And finally, to Aaron Telfa, my brother in the military. You find yourself on a UN operation right now. Happy birthday to you. God bless all of you and keep you in, or should I say, on the right path. And that's how we're going to cap it off. And of course, if you're celebrating your birthday today, we add our voices, our positive wishes to you. We celebrate you. Nyame and Mauso. That's our wish for you today.
All right. And before I go, let me just say a very big thank you to Azel Vogue for my dress. Azel is AZELLEVOG.
Do they sew for men as well?
Oh, yeah, they do. Azel sews for men and women for all occasions. You can find Azel on Instagram, and then you get all the contact details there. But that will be it. Thank you so much for your company. There's much love from us to you. Please take care. And don't drink and drive. We need your life, God willing, on Monday for another exciting week where we focus on all that matters to you. Up next is News Desk with Aisha Ibrahim. Take care.